All right. We're back. Welcome back to the Real Precious. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's a new week. I got a new do. I had to cut my hair again because I'm just addicted to doing it. I love my shortcut. Okay. I never want to let it go. Sometimes I do, but I got to bring it right on back. Got to bring it right on back. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Definitely like the live tonight. Definitely share, subscribe to the channel. I've been in limbo, y'all, about this content creation thing and the direction I should go in. Y'all just gave me some good feedback in the back, which does make me feel good a incy bit. But I still feel like there's something missing or there's something else. But that could just be me. I could just be being hard on myself, or I don't know. But I'm still, trying to feel my way through it. I'm not one to be like everybody else. I don't desire to do that, and I don't think that I am. But I don't know. I'm just having a feeling that there needs to be more, something different. So I'm still feeling my way throughout that. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me and definitely supporting the channel. I'm going to introduce the panels thus far. We do have people that's going to be joining us. So, Sean, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing well. As you can see, I'm driving, so I'll be in and out of my avatar.
No
Thank you for
problem.
having me.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. My co-host, Mr. King Smith. How are you this evening, sir?
Hey, the streets have missed you, the real precious. Watch, I'm telling y'all, hey, for those of y'all out there, show the support, hit that like button, let Precious know we need these men panel Mondays out here. But I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you. Yes, I do hear that people miss the show. It's funny. I was going on my Facebook, on my the Real Precious Facebook, and there are a lot of messages in there that I like have not gotten to, and I don't know if it's because of the way my messenger is set up. Then there's an app that I use, the Sweet app or whatever, and I was like, wow, I've been missing a lot of messages, and I got a whole bunch of we be missing you on Monday, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't even notice. So my bad, y'all on Facebook. Thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for always showing love, and I apologize. I got to look at those messages more often. But no, I love doing these shows on Mondays, and so that's why I can't like just leave it alone. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it is important. Maybe we can add another element to the show or something like that. But I do love the show, so it's not like I want to just leave the show or just not come back and not do it. It's just I just feel like there is something else or something different that we can do with the show, and creatively we'll figure that out. But I do love being here on Monday nights and having the conversations. We're gonna have a good one tonight. Tonight's gonna be all about parenting. Before we get into it, guys, just be reminded that tonight's show is hosted by jcreativehosting.com. So if you guys need a website, you need someone to host it, go over there, type in the code HCM22, and you will be able to have your site hosted by them as well. I do see you guys in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. Tarika, I see you. The greatest mod in the land says, evening, everyone. Please hit that like button as you come in. That's all you got to do. Just hit the thumbs up. Just hit the thumbs up. That's all you got to do. Sabrina, thank you so much for being here. She says, hello, everyone. Hola, hola, hola. Mr. Chocolate, good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. La Peace says, hit the like button. Family, definitely hit that like button. I appreciate you. Harrison Davis says, Mom gave up on you. I mean, right after Mother's Day? Oh.
Oh, which reminds me, Happy Mother's Day. Happy
Thank
belated
you,
Mother's
thank
Day.
you.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day.
Uh, you know, we love our mothers, but that's be the first thing you say right before you tell what the truth of the matter really is, right? And so I remember posting years ago, like, for this Mother's Day, or maybe it was a Father's Day or one of the holidays, like everybody just need to be real with their family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to be real with your family. You need to tell the truth. Y'all need to stop going around the table and acting like everybody when you don't. I don't feel like people should be forced to see family if they are not in the right headspace or emotional, they don't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with someone who maybe is abusing them, or someone who is trying to play in their face, as you know, we say out here in these streets. But know that you should be able to go to your family and love and talk about some things. And so we're gonna go over some of that this evening. But yes, we're talking about it right after Mother's Day. And if this was a Sunday, and we usually go live on Sunday, we would have been talking about it on Mother's Day, because I think that a lot of our hurts do stem from our mother. And some of them stem from our father as well, but a lot of them do stem from our mother. She's our, your life source. She carried you for 9 months. She has a huge influence on you, what you do, how you think, all that good stuff, how you operate, whether, it's in a positive or a negative way. Your mother has a lot to do with it. And believe me, we're going to get to the fathers when Father's Day come around. So sit tight. Okay. All right. Can you do Judge Lake? I don't know who got the hook up to Judge Lake, because that's how I got the hook up to Judge Tola. I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. So, if you know Judge Lake and got a hook up with old Senorita, tell her to come. Baby, won't you come my way? Tell her to come over here. We would love to have her. I was trying to surprise y'all with somebody. And you know what? I'm gonna keep trying. And I'm not even gonna say who it is, because it would be a miracle from the Lord above. But I've met my fair share of celebrities and TV personalities and things of that such. So I'm not going to give up the hope, because I think it is possible. And I know some people who have been in contact with this person. So we're just going to keep hope alive. But if you know Judge Lake, hey, tell her, look, we like her too. Actually, my grandmother actually went to one of her tapings, and my grandmother was knocked out, y'all. She was knocked out in the front row. Okay. At break time, they had to tell her to wake up. So maybe I can contact my grandmother and be like, Grandma,
I see where you get it from. I see where you get it from. Does she too put the hand like this?
No, my grandma be knocked out. She don't use her hand to stand or nothing. Okay, it's just wherever her head lay, that's where it's going. But so yeah, I do remember that. My grandma was a while ago. Thank you so much for being here. Good evening. Chaotic Clubhouse, I see you in the building. Thank you so much for being here. Mike Quick looks like he's tapping in from Facebook. Thank you so much. He says, DM me who it might be. Like who? Stran? I got connects. I don't know. Oh, like Sean, I got connects. I don't know. And the crazy part about it is I grew up watching this person. So if this person comes on the platform, just like Judge Tola, I grew up watching her too, because it was nothing but judge shows for me. I love Fox 29 judge shows. I grew up watching this person, so we just gonna pray. We gonna cross our fingers and our toes and all that good stuff, okay? Because I want her to come on here and have a conversation with you guys while I just sit back and watch it all unfold. And not to put you guys on the spot, but she has an expertise in doing this, and it would be great to, have her have a conversation with you guys. So dang, I said her. God, leave me. Gee, all right, we're going.
I got the context clue.
I'm gonna hush about that. Okay, I'm gonna hush about that. But we're gonna get into this first video. It's going to be our little icebreaker here. Again, a lot of these videos, all of the videos are about parenting. So that's the direction that we're going in tonight. This is not to badmouth anyone or anyone that we see in these videos, but to bring awareness to certain things that people probably think about all the time, but they don't have the courage to actually take the next step to do something about it, say something about it, or address it in any type of way. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. And we're going to get started with this one.
He wasn't turning in assignments.
My bad, y'all.
Leon and Zach. So my son was getting in trouble. He wasn't turning in assignments at school and was late to classes and not respectful to his teachers. Me and my husband has taught him better than that, and he knows better. And since then, my husband has really been tough on him. He's one of those super training dads, basically putting my son in a boot camp. He's got our 9-year-old son working out twice a day, running hills and all types of training. He says he's disciplining him, but to me, it's starting to look like abuse. My son hates getting up that early in the morning and then having to work out that late in the afternoon. But I do admit his behavior has improved. My husband says that he's teaching him discipline and making him great. And ever since my husband has been watching this Richard movie with about Serena Williams' daddy, he hasn't been the same. I'm happy my son is doing better in school, but at what cost? I can tell he's exhausted. What should I do? Should I stop my husband from this abusive behavior, or should I mind my business?
Ooh, let me start. Let me start. All right. First of all, she kept saying my son, and I don't think she ever said our son at all. So I'm coming at this from the dynamic of that is a stepfather to that young man. All right. What that father is doing, what that man is doing is he is teaching discipline and hard work at a young age. And it's something that I wish I would have done a little bit better at with my own daughter, just kind of having her have that extra drive. But I think it starts around that 8 to 9-year-old range in showing your kids what hard work looks like, right? If you want to be average, do what everybody else is doing. Okay, that'll put you in the average category. But to have her questioning what he's doing in instilling just discipline and hard work in the kid, what I didn't hear wasn't anything that followed the abuse category. She should be happy that he is showing that young man what hard work looks like. To be complaining or asking other people if she should leave him or if it was excessive, I think is BS. That's crazy to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you go, Sean, excuse me. Good evening, Arpain. How are you?
Hello, how you doing? How you feel?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
All right. How's the rest of the panel? Everybody okay? I'm doing fine. I can't complain.
Good.
Yep.
Doing well, but who is this guy? I don't recognize him.
I
Welcome
want to
back,
show
man.
my age. I'm showing my age. Got to put the girls out there.
You went on vacation, right? Wasn't it your?
It was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
It was just a short time. Me and the wife were hanging out, man.
Okay.
I say man, but we were hanging out.
No, I
She
get
still
it.
loves me.
I understand.
She still loves me after all this time.
I'm gonna get an amen for that. All right.
That's what's up.
All right, Sean. So I know you were about to weigh in on this, and then we'll go over to Arpain. If you haven't seen it, I'll go ahead and replay it. But go ahead,
Okay,
Sean.
great.
Okay, first off, get out your damn feelings. This is the thing that it continuously happens time and time again. A woman gets in her feelings about how she feels. It's abusive. She created this whole narrative about abusive because she looked at King Richard, and now she has become where she's feeling like he's being abusive. The answer her question is yes, leave it alone. Stop getting in your feelings. Get out of the fact that he's being abusive. And focus on the positive as opposed to the negative. The positive is that there are signs of the child doing better. There are signs of the child responding. You see the child getting tired, and your feelings and your emotions will tell you, oh, he is. And you start getting empathetic and sympathetic. And that's just what I understand that's a possibility. And I commend women who are able to do it, but stop trying to make women be men. I'm sorry, men be women. We don't think that way. We have a different approach and strategy. And quite frankly, our strategy works more times than not. So instead of complaining or being in your feelings about it, appreciate, value, and understand the process.
Okay, I can respect that. Arpain, did you need me to play the video again?
Yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah, please. It's not that long.
Leon and Zach. So my son was getting in trouble. He wasn't turning in assignments at school and was late to classes and not respectful to his teachers. Me and my husband has taught him better than that, and he knows better. And since then, my husband has really been tough on him. He's one of those super training dads, basically putting my son in a boot camp. He's got our 9-year-old son working out twice a day, running heels and all types of training. He says he's disciplining him, but to me, it's starting to look like abuse. My son hates getting up that early in the morning and then having to work out that late in the afternoon. But I do admit his behavior has improved. My husband says that he's teaching him discipline and making him great. And ever since my husband has been watching this Richard movie with Serena Williams' daddy, he hasn't been the same. I'm happy my son is doing better in school, but at what cost? I can tell he's exhausted. What should I do? Should I stop my husband from this abusive behavior, or should I mind my business?
Abusive behavior. My son, my son, my son, my son. I'm shutting up. Arpain, you have the floor.
Well, you already took some of my thunder. But listen, the discipline is good, but one of my biggest pet peeves is, and I straightened my wife out about this too, and I'm sticking to that. When the first time she called out my kids, our kids, my kids, I didn't let it go. The very first time in my presence, I said, "Wait a minute, those are our children." I said, "Listen, when you're around me, don't be saying that you're a kid. They're our kids, And I didn't have to do it too much, but that's a real pet peeve of mine, and I think it's a woman thing. And I don't think it's negative. I think it's an instinctual thing that women just naturally do when they have kids.
I don't think if I've ever heard my mom say, "My kids."
Maybe not all women, but a lot of, maybe it's modern women, maybe, but I hear women say it all the time because I'm tuned to it. Very seldom do I hear women say, these are, our kids, our children. They always say my. And I said, and then a lot of men the husband will be standing there. He don't say nothing, but I can't let it pass. So my wife, and I told her why. I said, well, she shouldn't say that. And let's get out of that habit. And I went through that soliloquy before. Mm-hmm. But the wife should mind her business. However, if she wants to intervene, she needs to just remind her husband that, yeah, I like the discipline too. It's working, but everybody, even Jesus, even God took a day off. You know what I'm saying? So there's discipline, but you have to also show some grace in there, and then you get back at it.
Right.
You know? And so that might satisfy her, as opposed to her looking at her son, but she might feel deteriorate. But so there's a balance. So she should know how to talk to her husband and say, hey, I understand the discipline, but give the guy a little break and make it into a break based on some kind of reward. Your grades went up, I'll give you a day off. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to get back at it. Maybe it don't have to be 2 days. Maybe it's 1 day. So there's got to be some grace there. So she's not all wrong, but she should not let it. If she lets it fester, it's going to become a problem. Mm-hmm. Like she seems like she's elevating.
How do I feel about this? So the thing with discipline and children, you know how your mama used to say, when she beat you, this is going to hurt me more than it hurt you? Yeah,
and nobody believed that.
When it hurts them, though? When it hurts them years later. It don't hurt them right then and there. It hurts the child right then and there because it's immediate pain. But it doesn't hurt the parent until later, until they see what the result of that child is and how the discipline has brought up that child. Now, you can bring up a child in discipline and in love, and that child still, admire you and thank you for, being that way towards them. Or you can have a child that's raised in discipline with no love and they resent you for, disciplining them, having regimen, like practice regimens, whatever the case may be. So when they say, "Oh, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you," because honestly, if you don't straighten up, you're going to hurt the family name. You're going to hurt what's going on. If you do straighten up, then it's going to hurt the parent to see them, being negligent with their children because they know that it's an impact on their parenting. You know what I mean? So I think that there's nothing wrong with parents being very diligent, being very disciplined when they're younger, but you have to do that with love too. I don't feel like you should be forcing your child to do anything, but at the same time, they do need discipline, structure, and that's something that's not going to feel good. I was in the marching band for all 4 years. The first year child, I wanted to quit. I was like, I ain't cut out. I can't. I ain't doing it. My mom was like, you're not quitting. You are not quitting. And it's a good thing that I didn't quit because we won all states. We won state championships. And the feeling of winning because I didn't quit, it felt good. But them cold nights were cold. Them hot days was scorching. Right. So it don't feel good right then and there. It don't feel good when you got to do the drill over and over and over because somebody misstep and you out there and your fingers is freezing and you trying to remember the notes with no music marching on a field. So it doesn't feel good right then and there. But the results, if you continue, if you go on, the results you should yield good results from it. And so that is something that we have to, I believe, instill in our children. And I think that us as parents, there are times where you think, oh, well, he's so tired. He coming home tired. And as a mom, I always said that I couldn't have a little boy because I would just be, I would just be like, no, give him everything. Do everything. Like, you know what I mean? And it would have to take for a man to be like, yeah, no, we're not doing it. He gonna go play football. He gonna fall. He gonna scrape his knee. He's gonna do all those things. And so it's natural for the mom to have that nurturing attitude. Okay. But at the end of the day, you have to trust that just like the person who's protecting and providing for the family is doing so for the family, that he has the best interest of that little boy as well. And I think that my child thing is like you said, definitely a mother's thing. But I've never heard my mom say that, and I don't know.
I was going to ask you.
I don't know if it has anything to do with being adopted. I don't know because my parents had to work as a team. Like the caseworkers would tell my parents to call each other mom and dad, so we would get used to calling them mom and dad. So they worked as a team literally and I'm not saying that parents don't work as a team from day one, but they already had like a feat against them. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were already up against something. So they didn't have us as babies where it's just like, oh, my baby or my little boy or, and I'm not saying that they didn't have those feelings towards us. It just wasn't that natural biological thing. It was more so like, okay, like how do we get them to call us mom and dad?
And that's interesting. It's interesting you say that because that's what I was going to ask you. Did it have anything to do with the adoption? Because again, to your point, they had to practice. They had a different intention that when you innately or when you birth, you do somewhat feel attached to, especially in the mother's case, because she has carried the individual or the child for so long, so she naturally starts feeling sometimes or embracing them as theirs. So I can't say that there's anything wrong with it, but we definitely need to address it as it has been described. A lot of people have in these cases.
Yeah, it does happen a lot though. It does. I always say too that women in general, not just mothers, just women in general, just have a problem with letting go. That's my baby. That's my child. And it's like, no, God even told you that he wasn't going to give them to you forever. Like, why you think that you could just hold on for dear life? And I can understand it. I can definitely understand it as a mother. I can understand it. But I do also understand that God lent her for me for a little bit. I can't, and I don't know. I think I just think
I have
differently.
a question.
I really do.
As a woman, I have a question for you, Precious.
Hmm.
Uh, does it give women a sense of y- are you guys in need of wanting to be what am I trying to say? Wanting to be needed. Like is it something that gives validation to embrace the idea of possessing a child,
Um,
needing to be needed.
Needing to be needed. I don't necessarily think is needed to be needed, but you know that you have a higher level of control over the child, or a woman thinks that she has a higher sense of control over the child because she birthed the child. Like it's like a she's stamping that territory type of thing, and it's like it took for someone to actually have sex with you for you to have a child. So for you to use the pronouns of my, or describe the child as just yours, or my kids, my child, um that can come off like narcissistic, because you would think that you was a Virgin Mary and God planted this, this seed inside of you, and now, you come out the shadows and had this child. It's like, no, it took for somebody else. And I think that when you use that terminology, a lot of women don't take that seriously, but you unconsciously indoctrinate something in the child's mind for when it's time to, when there's conflict, or when you guys are not seeing eye to eye, or how children try to pin parents on each other. That was another thing I couldn't do at home. It wasn't like, oh, go ask your mom, or oh, go ask your dad. Like, my parents was always on the same page. So I think that saying my kids, or I don't even think that that's cute to do in a playful manner, because you really don't understand sometimes how saying things out loud does affect you, and it does have an effect on people around you as well. So I think that women should be careful saying that, because it's just not a good look, in my opinion. Hey Hank, how are you this evening?
How you doing, Precious? How you doing, fellas?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
All right, I gotta go ahead, Hank, and after you introduce yourself to the crowd here. I know a lot of people do know you, but there are some people who don't know you. So just introduce yourself real quick.
Oh, well, I mean, if you don't know who I am, you will tonight. My name's Hank. I work at show The Basement. So y'all more than welcome to check me out. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays I talk about sports, and Wednesdays I talk about anything else, whatever's on my mind, pretty much. So that's who I am, and glad to be here with you, Real Precious, and rest of the fellas on the panel.
I appreciate
you, man. How you doing?
Yeah.
Right on, right on.
All right. Keep it funky. In real life. Keep it funky in real life. Said the 499 says, Hank, why you play hating on Arnold? I look, and then going to send a follow up. Okay. You want to double back on it. All right. We have another Real Bravado Network. He's been a member for 2 months. So salute Hank and R Pain. Thank you so much.
How you doing, Real Bravado?
Thank you. I believe I saw a comment. Mike Quick says, and if the child hears that, they can try to play two hands against the middle. Yes. And we're gonna get into some of that, because again, tonight is about parenting. Somebody had called me cold. after naming this this live. Mom gave up on me after Mother's Day. You know, Mother's Day is one of the most celebrated, one of the highest grossing holidays that we have. I know I worked in the restaurant business for a long time. Packed, no reservations. Everybody called the day two before. We're tired at the end of the night. My feet hurt. I have worked a double. People love Mother's Day. They really do. People love Mother's Day. And fathers don't get that love. Again, I worked the restaurant for years. Mother's Day, packed. Father's Day, it's steady. It's steady. It ain't slow. It's steady. But Mother's Day, child, your back is done by the end of the night. Okay. So I wasn't trying to be cold, but since we did just get done with Mother's Day, we should talk about it. All right. So that mother, Hank, did you see the video that I just played with that mother and father talking about the son?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, but I it looks like you said no, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
All right, we're gonna play it one more time.
Kind of Precious. Before we play this, can I answer this man's question real fast?
Oh yes.
You know,
he back to back.
they need to stop this shit. First of all, I was not hating on this man. I was trying to help the brother out, Logic. I was trying to give him some of that old school game. He just didn't know how to talk to a woman. And so he just continued to disrespect me. So I had to do what Hank normally does, and I will clown his ass. So that was it. Thank you, Precious. I appreciate that.
All right, I'm gonna stay out of grown man's business, but he super chatted to say all that. So hey, keep him coming. You got any more questions? Let us know. Okay. All right, let's get back to the video.
Leon and Zach. So my son was getting in trouble. He wasn't turning in assignments at school and was late to classes and not respectful to his teachers. Me and my husband has taught him better than that, and he knows better. And since then, my husband has really been tough on him. He's one of those super training dads, basically putting my son in a boot camp. He's got our 9-year-old son working out twice a day, running heels and all types of training. He says he's disciplining him, but to me, it's starting to look like abuse. My son hates getting up that early in the morning and then having to work out that late in the afternoon. But I do admit his behavior has improved. My husband says that he's teaching him discipline and making him great. And ever since my husband has been watching this Richard movie with Serena Williams' daddy, he hasn't been the same. I'm happy my son is doing better in school, but at what cost? I can tell he's exhausted. What should I do? Should I stop my husband from this abusive behavior, or should I mind my business?
860.
All right, so she mind her business, Hank, or stop her husband from that abusive behavior?
Look, this is crazy. Ma'am, why would you interfere with that sort of discipline? As long as he's not beating or spanking the kid and he's using other forms of punishment, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't see that at all. Look, that's what I used to do to my son. My son missed free throws, 25 push-ups. You got a bad attitude on the court, bad body language, 25 push-ups. You know, saying you get a flagrant foul, 25 push-ups. So that was my form. You know, I stopped spanking my son in the 6th grade. I stopped that. I realized it's not always the right way and the answer to doing things. So there's other ways of punishment and take away from kids. So what's wrong with what he's doing? It's not only going to help your son to get in shape and to maybe build up some level of confidence and build up his self-esteem about it, but he's also going to realize, hey, look, there's consequences. Everything, there's a consequence to everything, whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence. There's consequences to everything. So I don't see nothing wrong with it. I think she don't like it because she feels like it's some some sort of brutal situation because of what he's I guess he's seen on that King Richard movie with the Venus Serena movie. Look here, if that's what he had to do to inspire him to do it, so be it. A man being a man, take care of his business as a father, doing what he need to do to take care of his son or his kids, whatever the case might be, so be it. As long as he's not leaving webs on him like Adrian Peterson, I don't see it as a problem.
I would agree. I don't think that if you haven't gone through, so most women, there, you have women who play sports, who've been a part of teams, who have been in some type of competitive sport. But if you have never done that, if a woman has never played a sport, if she has never been on a team, if she has never been a part of some type of team sport, she's never going to understand the structure and discipline that, and I think that's that's foundational. And I think the things that you learn playing sports and things like that, you carry over into relationships. That's what you do. That's what you do.
Wow. You're right, Precious. And I think one thing about sports that they're being coached.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times women have not been coached,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's via sports, whether it's via father, whether it's any authoritative figure, sometimes just haven't been exposed to that. And so they don't understand the process.
Mm-hmm.
And to each his own. I'm not asking you to understand it. I'm just saying, if it don't question the methods, only the results.
Yeah. It's just it's when it's repetitive, it's a mental conditioning, right? When you have to get up every day at 5 a.m., your brain knows, oh man, I gotta get up, I gotta do this. And so if you haven't been there and you haven't, done that, then you're not going to understand the tiredness that the son is experiencing, not realizing that it's helping him, it's building him. All right, so Keep It Funky in Real Life spent another $5 saying that's exactly what Hank did to Arnold. I don't know who are. Hey, Arnold, are you there? I don't know what's going on.
Hey, can you elaborate a little bit on who this Arnold is and what happened? Just a little bit.
I'm not going to get into this. I'm not going to get into this. This is irrelevant. Let's focus on this beautiful conversation that Precious has put together for us, man, to talk about. That's what we're going to talk. We're not going to talk about that.
Mike Quick says a woman can never teach a boy to be a man. She can raise him, teach him right and wrong, but not to be a man. And yes, again, that's that mental fortitude, along with strength training and other things. A woman is not going to teach a little boy to do that. She's just not, unless she's in the military and she getting him up at the crack of dawn and putting him through boot camp. A mother is not going to do that because she's going to think, oh my goodness, he's tired. He needs to get his rest. He needs to get the proper nutrients. That's how women are thinking. They're not thinking, I don't care how you feeling. I need you to be thinking correctly because you can't be coming home from school saying that you don't have assignments done and your grades are slipping. No, that's unacceptable.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, Precious, because that's what I said earlier, the feelings. And I said it purposely because I know when you say that to women, it's a triggering scenario. But that triggering is those feelings that get out of control.
Yeah.
And in order to practice on getting them under control, sometimes you might need to go through the process of the feeling so that you can go through a better way on how to approach it. And boot camp, the feeling of a boot camp, you would never know what the value of it is if you haven't gone through it.
Facts. Because if I would have quit it that first year after band camp, I would have been like, oh, okay, they won. but experiencing the win through the hell made it feel even better for me. All right, so we're going to get into this next video that I'm sure that you guys have seen. It's been over social media. There has been an update to the story, and we'll get into that. But let's get into this one.
Let's go ahead and stir the pot a little, shall we? Last Friday, 10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to live stream my students helping me take my hair out. There was quite the discourse in the chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing and people were just making it weird. So of course I had to bring this issue to the big stage. I would like to represent myself in this case, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for a little context, I had a hair appointment immediately after school and I needed my hair taken out beforehand.
Now this is context, okay? Unfortunately, he's writing his own grave, but this is context that he's giving, okay, in this video. So he said he had a hair appointment after school and he didn't have enough time to take out his hair.
I would have taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video and I was one of the ones being interviewed. So I had to look presentable, so I didn't take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself because it would have taken me forever.
He didn't have the time to do it himself or it would have taken him forever.
So naturally I asked about 4 or 5 of my over 100 best friends to assist me in taking my hair out and they all agreed. Number two, this was...
Naturally he asked them, which means that he saw no...
At the end of class. This week we were doing STEM fair presentations. Since it was Friday and all of my students did an excellent job on their STEM fair projects and presentations, I told them if we get one solid presentation in this class, I'll end class a little early and they can have fun and play basketball, darts, or be on their phones or whatever. And during that time, my team would help me take my hair out. A couple of these were students from my class, but others were students from other classes.
So he not only has students from his class, but he has students from other classes as well.
I wrote all of them a pass at the beginning of the class period, requesting their assistance 10 minutes before dismissal. I told the teachers only send them if all of their work was completed and they had good behavior. They all met the criteria, so 10 minutes before dismissal, they showed up for their job. My next point I'd like to make is if I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, oh, this is weird, this is inappropriate.
I'm not one of those people. It's weird whether it's a man or a woman.
Because me personally, I don't think there's anything weird about this. People are saying, oh, that's too intimate. To me, it's literally just hair. It doesn't have to be weird. Some people have never had cool teachers, and it shows. I personally believe that building authentic relationships with students is paramount in being an effective teacher. About them beyond the schoolwork and all the stuff that I have to make them.
He cares for them beyond the schoolwork and all the other stuff he has to make in the classroom.
I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics because caring for the whole child is what's important.
All right. So go ahead, King.
Let me go here. So you said it earlier. It doesn't matter if it was a man or a woman that had students did that. Completely inappropriate. I went and found some student guides and teacher guides. My lady is a teacher, right? So there's that dynamic. He said halfway through that video, 1,000 of my best friends. No, you are a teacher. Those are students. There is a reason for the enforcement of that type of relationship and how it should be strict. You should care about the students that you are teaching, but you have to have a very hard boundary on several things, because if you're you can't turn on the news now without seeing some inappropriate female teacher having some type of relation with a third grader, fourth grader, fifth grader. And that's how it starts. It might seem innocent, but that's how it starts. You're breaking down one barrier, and then then the next thing, hey, I can't even say the things that I want to say, but it's a slippery slope towards removing that teacher-student barrier to then have an inappropriate relationship. Not saying that that particular instance or that particular man was doing that, but whether it's a female or a male, you should not be having students take down your hair like that. Shouldn't do it. You're on mute.
Okay. Who was speaking? Was it me or someone else was
Go
speaking?
ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I have a very interesting and take on this. Do I feel like he should have done it? No. Do I feel like it was something perverted and or something weird? No. Reason being is because it was done live. It wasn't something that you found out about. It was something that was actually done in front of. Now, do I think that it was a good choice? No, not at all. But the perversion of people's suspicions is what makes our world weird. Because we can't trust each other, we often start making accusations and demonizing innocent acts. And we have to learn how to separate an innocent act versus something that can look very perverted or look very demonized as untainted when in fact it isn't. And we are failing at that as a society because we just don't trust so often, and it's becoming very problematic in my opinion, and it's growing. And just the fact of people who think it's weird because they can't trust is weird to me. It's weird that we can't trust each other. It's weird that we think everybody is guilty before proven innocent. It's weird to me that we are sitting around walking on eggshells because how corrupt this world is. And so how do we reel it back in to get some type of trust to what is innocence? Does it even exist anymore? Probably not, because of all our perverted, traumatized, demonized mentalities. And I feel like it continues as a cycle. And so that's why I think that needs to be addressed as opposed to whether this man should be demonized. Because right now we demonized him. And as a father, no, I wouldn't want him to do that. Yes, I do think that it was a selfish act more so than I think it was a horrible offensive act. It was a selfish act. You shouldn't have been having your students. And if you were going to have your students, you should have asked their parents prior to doing it. But do I think that he was this monster that he can actually be made out to look like because of our perverted minds? No, I don't. And that's just my view on it.
I'll also add, he got fired. I don't think he deserved to get fired from it. I thought it wasn't appropriate, but a fireable offense, not really.
Well, I think that he got fired because of the attention that he brought to the school. And not only did he bring the school attention, but then he put more eyes on himself. So you're teaching. So I used to teach and I used to substitute in the school district from kindergarten all the way up to high school. And so, there are times where there's downtime. There are times where, like he said, that they're doing testing and everyone, I was surprised when I used to substitute and teach that they would let the kids, be on their phones after, they're done all their work. And mind you, I'm not their main teacher. So it's like, oh no, it's okay if they're on their phones and this and that. So they do have a lot of downtime. But I think that he got fired because I remember when I used to create lesson plans, it used to take a while. It used to take a long time to do lesson plans and, put your ideas in it and have it set for the next day or even for the week, really. And so it's like, okay, you're in here teaching, but you're also TikToking. This is where social media is getting people in trouble because you're not of the generation of where there was no social media and everybody wasn't in your business when you went to work, when you clocked in. Everybody wasn't in your in your classroom. Now, those girls knows that he does TikTok. Okay, we talk about Instagram baddies and models and things. That's how that starts. Oh, did you see Mr. So-and-so video? I was in his video. I was doing his hair. I was da-da-da-da. I think it's inappropriate for hygiene reasons. I would not want another student to be in a teacher's hair because of hygiene. You don't know what's in that teacher's hair. You don't know how clean those kids' hands are. If they have cuts, they could get sepsis, they can get an infection. That's where my mind is at. It has nothing to do with perversion. I think everybody's mind goes to perversion because he's a black man and those are black little girls. And there is a lot of sexual immorality in the black community. There's a lot of it. So I think that's why people's mind goes there first. But for me, when I saw it, I said, oh, that's nasty. Like, why would you? I've also done people hair, braid people hair, style people hair. It's like people hair be nasty, greasy, danger, flake. Why would you want him shaking his head and all that around you? So it's the lack of awareness that he has as a teacher. And the kids are only going to follow his lead. If he's built up this great relationship with them, great. They need that, but they don't need to be around you, got you covered in. You got one here. Like, no. I also thought it was a lack of personal space. You should be able to give your teacher some space, and your teacher needs to be able to give you space. So there is no confusion. There are no lines that are blurred. There is no misconceptions. You can't take this out of context. There is no way you can take this out of context. Teachers need to protect themselves because they're with your children more than you are. They're with your children more than you are. So you have to protect yourself in that manner. So that's what I thought when I saw the video. Should he have gotten fired? I don't think that he should have gotten fired. I think maybe he should have gotten suspended. I think maybe suspension, because again, you TikToking and we paying you to teach. You know, you using our building for your production.
Over there being like
people pay for that.
Over there being like Mario, braid my hair, come on and braid my hair.
That's why I thought it was, you know, I've never been sexually assaulted. I've never been, you know, no one has ever taken advantage of me. So my mind did not go there because I don't have those fears. I don't walk out of this world and think, oh my God, there are people out here that are evil. Although I know that there are, I don't have that fear. I don't have that outlook on things. There are people that I know that do, and that are very protective, very overly protective. So I can see why they think that way. But at the same time, you have to understand what goes on in our community and the things that we cover up and hide and don't talk about. And so when things like this come out, now all your darkest fears are coming out. And it's like, no, you probably should have talked to somebody and sat on somebody's couch about that, because you can't project your fears onto the next person.
Agreed. And I just want to make the note that the reason why I said is because it wasn't done in secret. If it was done outside of secrecy, like if he did that and just then I found out about it, it wasn't live, my sentiment would be different. But because he actually did it openly is one of the things that I put into his favor. But again, I don't agree that it was appropriate.
That's a fair point.
Go ahead, RP. I'm talking now.
Hey, listen, you know what? I almost agree with Sean over here. Listen, I think it was inappropriate, but if you look at the full context of the way he taught these kids, they were always in his space. All the kids, he was in their space. They were in his space. That's how he teaches them. I think the kids lost a great teacher, a great black male teacher that we have very few of, and he was inappropriate. But these same parents who are outraged will be bringing home babies from half of these girls in the next 3 years and don't say shit about it. You know, and so it's selective outrage. That's what I look at it as. Now, I don't think he should have been fired. I do agree it was inappropriate. That's only because he's the one who broke the barrier with his students to begin with. the way he teaches them. And there's always hands-on. He's always got these kids in his orbit, and they're always in his orbit. And there have been no inappropriate, reviews about this guy. So I think he should have been suspended. I think but all the selective outrage, especially from the black community, just missed me with that shit. With all the bullshit that we let go on, that's the least of fucking things I ever seen, And so, people just need to have stuff their belly about, So I'm just saying he shouldn't have got fired, but I understand why they fired him. The number one reason is that he opened them up to massive lawsuits. You let one of those girls change their mind and say he coerced, any kind of word, the court of public opinion would have destroyed them, and they would have a lawsuit against the union, the whatever county they're in, and all that kind of. So he opened them up to massive lawsuits by doing that. So that's why they had to let him go. That's one of the reasons, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I have to step in here. Passport Bro Villain said something that I thought was fantastic. He said, I rarely see the female teacher who sleeps with a male student get this much of an outcry. And I'm wondering, why is there so much of an outcry with this specifically? There was a female teacher who was engaged to be married that had a long inappropriate relationship, I think with a middle schooler. And that was in the news for like 2.3 seconds. And then it was done, dismissed. So I am curious if y'all have an opinion on why this particular story went crazy. Is it because he's a black male?
No, because he's a man.
Is that the reason?
Because he's a man, period. It's not because he's just black. That might add to it, but I think it's because he's a man, period.
Damn. That's wild.
Yeah, I think it's because he's a man. And being a black man don't help. So, I mean, it doesn't help his case being as though that they were all African American. I see I didn't see a white girl in his head, right? They was all black little girls, right? So yeah. Let me see something. I do want to drop. I'll drop the link for you guys to weigh in as well. But Hank, what do you think about this?
Look, I had a situation. Well, nothing like that. It wasn't a guy, but it was my daughter did the teacher's nails. She was getting ready for the 8th grade dance or whatever. So the teacher needed her nails done. So she painted her nails. I mean, I didn't have an issue with it. Nothing like that. But I think the thing I hate, man, is the words that they are using for this man. That's so discouraging. Calling this man a predator, and we have no idea if that's the case. We're just going straight left with it. You know what I'm saying? To the extreme. The words that they are using to describe the man, that's what I don't like. Now, is it sanitary? No, I agree with you guys. No, it's not. But the words that are being used, that's what really disturbs me. And if it was a woman, this wouldn't have been a conversation. I don't think color has nothing to do with it. I just think it's a man and woman. It was girls doing a guy's head, that was a problem. If she was a woman doing that, they probably thought that was cute, thought it was okay. Nothing would have never came about it. But it's a man that's people just. I don't know why we always seem like we're the most dangerous species out here. You know what I'm saying? Black men, we can't do it right without as animals or some type of danger to society.
Hank, apparently we are. I mean, if you out in the woods, there's people saying that they'd rather encounter a bear than a man. Apparently men are just as dangerous things.
Not me.
And I hope a bear gets a hold of every last woman who said they would take a bear. I hope they rip their goddamn ass loose.
I'm trying to think on what side of the brain these women are thinking from when they say, I would rather be in the forest with a bear rather than a man. Like it really has to make you think, what exactly did a man do to you? Did a man do anything to you? Are you over exaggerating a story? Is this your friend's story and not your story? Like it, I think that them women need to have their brains evaluated. Seriously. And if not, you need to sit on somebody's couch. Because if you would rather be in the woods with a bear over a man, maybe you should move out of your house right now and pitch a tent and be in the woods living with your kin. What? That to me, I honestly think that that's a huge statement for a woman to make. A
But
very
hey,
disparaging one.
men
At
are
that.
dangerous. Just like they're trying to paint that teacher, like Ink was saying. Men bad, men dangerous.
No, I don't think that it was. I like I said, I thought it was hygiene wise. No one should be in no one's hair. No one should be touching anyone. They tell you that all the time. You keep your hands to yourself. That is like the number one rule in school. Keep your hands to yourself from pre-K, from kinder care on. You're keeping no touchy. We're not touching. You know, so the accusations that people have out there and they're calling him a predator, I definitely do not agree with that. But I don't agree that anyone should be touching anyone at all whatsoever, because there are too many stories that can be turned in too many directions that a school district does not have time to address. They do not want to address. Good evening, Trey Ferg. How are you this evening?
How you doing, Mr. Precious? How can you hear me?
I think my mic is loud. Is my mic loud? I think someone told me.
No, it's loud.
Is it loud?
No,
his mic. He got it on blast. Trey Ferg, he got the head. He's up there in the clouds. He's speaking down to him.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, oh man, this is a rabbit hole type of conversation. It's a rabbit hole type of action. I worked in the high school, grammar schools, high schools for 17 years in Chicago. And listen, that type of touching is totally inappropriate because one, it's within the protocols of the school. You know, it's different if I'm demonstrating an exercise or if I'm demonstrating a class assignment, or if I'm a coach and I got to show a player how to tackle, hit, stuff like that, or just swing a bat and stuff like that. But just in the context of when it happened, there was no other adults around. These young girls are very impressionable. And who's to say, you know, young girls talk, and it could have been a situation where one of them would have got mad. Lakeisha, you was touching all on his head. You was rubbing his bald head. You was you know, young women, you know, it's a fragile spot at that time in their life. You know, I don't think anyone should put themselves in that situation. It's unfortunate, you know, and they were gonna fire him, you know, with something like that, because I look at it like, if it was my own daughter, would I want her to be touching some man's greasy head during school hours? Would you, as a parent, want your daughter touching a man's head? Would the father want their daughter touching a man's head? And the fact that he's a male, listen, it's already few in a select few of men that are willing to even go into the school. A lot of us seem to act like we don't remember when we was bad as hell in school. But, you know, it's another story. But I think he got what was warranted for that. It was after school. And, you know, it's just unfortunate. You know, I've seen guys dancing and winding up on young women, like, and they thought it was okay to be dancing up on young girls. You know, hugging up on young girls. It's a very delicate situation, and you cannot put yourself in a position like that, especially as a man, because we need black men in schools, whether they feel like that they can make a difference or not within the school. They listen to men as long as he's righteous and his message is about inspiring them and not telling students what they should be doing, how bad they are. They already hear that. They just need to know how good they can be and how talented they are. You know, I used to be very careful on how I handled students, especially of females. I always invited another female in the room with me. I always kept doors open when I was talking to females. I would sort of keep space, like put them on the other side of a desk or table if I had to talk to them. And, you know, I would try to always invite the parent to be a part of that. But there's no way that I don't think he would have got any consent from any parent if he would have notified him and said, I would like for your child to braid my hair on Tuesday after school.
Right. So it was, recorded, or it was reported that he did have consent from the parents. And so, in the beginning of the year, your child comes home with forms, or now it's all electronic, where you're pretty much signing a form to say if you want your child to be a part of any type of media that is released from the school, right? Yeah. Which is cool if it was for the school. This was for his TikTok. You know what I mean? And so for the parents who's like, well, I signed the forms, and let me just put it this way. My dad would have not liked it if I would have been at school in a male teacher's hair. I don't care if we had 10 minutes. I don't care if we had 20 minutes. I don't care if we had 45 minutes. I don't like that. My mom or dad, it wouldn't have just, wouldn't have just been my dad, but my mom or dad. Why are you touching them? Why are you in their hair? So I think that, we see this as very frivolous, and we see it as, some people see it as very minute, because it's like, oh, well, some kids don't even have these connections, and some kids are with their teacher way more than they're at home, and, they're bonding and things of that nature. And all those things may be true, but you have to be able to differentiate professional from personal. And that's just period. And I think that, this guy just learned a lesson in his career as a teacher, that you don't mesh the two. You don't mesh the two. You just don't, because the lines can get blurred. And now, you have a teacher who is probably a great teacher. I'm not doubting that. He just made a poor decision, like someone said in the chat. And unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, because people might see this video, not might, they are going to see this video, and they're probably gonna say, oh, I don't know if we want him in our district. I mean, he's already a man and he's a black man, so he has 2 strikes against him, right? So you always have to think ahead. You always have to think, more times than not, men are usually thinking about the future. So if you're going to think about the future, did you think about where these videos were going to take you? Did you just think about followers and likes and things of that nature? Or did you say, okay, this is going to be, a gift to my students for graduation, or whatever the case may be? What was the end goal? Was it just for a second income? If it is, it shouldn't be at the mercy of your children, because everyone is not going to feel like those 5 women who signed the consent forms. A teacher, a parent could have, a student could have went home and said, Mom, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so was braiding the teacher's hair today. And I think so-and-so got a crush on him, because I heard her talking about him in 3rd period, and now we're in 4th period and she braided his hair, Mom. Like, it could be anything like that. Hell, a little boy could have a crush on him. I'm just saying, in 2024, you just never know. You just never know. Okay, so it's the you know how they say perception is reality. Couldn't nothing been going on there. Innocent as all get out, but perception is reality, especially for people who have been hurt and who have not healed their traumas. But at the end of the day, they're professional lines that you just don't cross. So we, as you know, the outsiders or the public opinion, there's so many and they're all over the place. But you should know, as a teacher, substitute, anyone that comes into that school, you shouldn't be putting your hands on kids, and they shouldn't be putting their hands on you. Point blank, period. So somebody said he ain't learned a lesson. He a victim. No, he should have known. He should have known. And I also said, you know, you want to connect with these kids. I heard that some of the girls wanted to do like cosmetology, and it's like, okay, well, invest in them. Get them some mannequin heads and put them in the classroom for them to touch on them heads when they get you know, a few minutes at the end of class. So it's like, okay, you care enough to actually, you know, put this, because that's what they buy. That's what they have to learn on. So why not do that? You invested in yourself. Okay, you ain't have enough time to get your hair braided. You needed to go to an awards dinner or whatever afterwards. That is not an excuse for you to have 4 or 5 girls around you getting your hair taken out. I'm sorry, it's not.
I hear what you're saying, but part of the reason why I keep pushing back on that is because, again, we don't have a lot of good male teachers. And one thing that was spoken about, the results of their grades. They are doing well in school. So he connected in ways that many might not have. And that's something to give to credit. Again, I don't agree with his choice. I think it was a bad choice. It was a selfish choice. It was an inappropriate choice. But to sit there and make it more than that is where I have a concern. And social media has a very significant way of doing that. And we add to that by not defending something that could be innocent, or not even identifying or recognizing what innocence even means. And so I question again, what is innocence? Does it even exist? And we keep complaining about how fast everything is and how horrible things are in this world, but we don't even leave room for innocence. We make it guilt. We dismiss innocence when in fact it is presented right in front of us, because we are so traumatized, perverted, however you want to look at us as a society, and we don't even recognize how much we're lending and adding and fueling the thing that we complain about often.
I don't know if I totally agree with that. Them having good grades shouldn't be, you know, it shouldn't, the incentive shouldn't be, okay, you can come do my hair. They should have good grades because they have freaking good grades.
I never said that. You're right. I never said that.
Because they're good students. So
right,
I don't think
that's an incentive. I never said it's an incentive. I said that we need to take into account the totality of it instead of just demonizing the action of it. Again, and I emphasize, do I think it was the right action? No, not whatsoever. But here we are demonizing, and we're now basically lending to the point that we argue and we fight and we find disgusting every time of what social media does. This has definitely been an effect of what social media has done to our community specifically, and we allow it.
Well, you know, that black man made a decision. Okay, he made a decision, and his decision unfortunately had consequences. Trey,
So bro,
could the girls have practiced on themselves? I don't even think that would have been a good idea. School is school. School is not, unless you're in a cosmetology school. Are they in a cosmetology school, or was he their science teacher or something like that? I don't think they were in a cosmetology.
But see how we automatically demonize it, and we don't even know that information.
It was a science.
But to your point, I don't think it was a cosmetology school. But the point is, we are sitting there demonizing something and siding with something, and this division destroys us. And here we have somebody
No,
who
you gotta
made
have,
a mistake. Wait, here's somebody who made a mistake. We agreed to that, but we're sitting here acting like mistakes can't be made, and none of us made mistakes.
Here we go with mistakes again, Sean.
I don't think it was a mistake.
This man have been TikToking for so long and using the children as part of his TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Would you like to TikTok your profession and come and put it all over the internet and do like some things, like you said, innocence, right? Why are now these children's innocence being put out for the world to see? This man probably don't have no kids. These are probably just his students, and he probably think he's the cool guy. Like
Well,
I
let's
said,
answer some of those questions. I agree with you.
You want these kids to like you. You want these unruly kids to be on your side. You want these kids who parents not raising them to be into you because you want them to be into school, right? But there are lines you just cannot cross for trying to be
mistake, and that's the mistake that he made. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Well, what do you call it if this is part of the nature? Wait, let me ask you before you go, Trey. If this is part of the societal norm, TikTok, social media is something that we didn't grow up with. This is something that is normal in this generation, and the students have it, the parents have it, the school facility uses it, the students use it, the parents use it, and now that something that it's like playing, it's like, for example, let's use sports. The norm in sports used to be where you get a travel if you take 3 or 4 steps. Now you can take 5 steps, make a shot, and nothing is called. It's become normal. But as soon as the wrong person take the 5 steps and they call it, then all of a sudden there's outrage. And they're saying, oh, it's not a mistake. He knew what he was doing. Everybody's doing that.
I don't know who left that comment. 454. Oh, works too. Okay, put the chains on the dog. Put the locks on the doors. Like, come on. We can adapt to the new age, and with the new. No, there's structure. We talk about structure and discipline, right? We talked about that the first video. Structure and discipline. Social media shouldn't be in school. It shouldn't be in school.
You're right, but it is.
But
and ain't nobody fighting that it should be out of school.
A teacher does it on the side.
No. That's nonsense. That's one. The school does not have any strict rules on not having social media, and we know this. So why are we acting like we don't?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I said strict.
Listen. This is something that when it was starting to develop and pick up about 12 years ago in the public schools, they would send memos out on certain restrictions within social media. No inappropriate pictures at all. No inappropriate behavior, relationships within a student and a teacher at all. They pass these things out in your employment handbook. As a professional, especially in this time and space, you need to read that damn thing from the copyright to the damn back of the book. You need to look and see what color the back of the book is, because the school is becoming really, listen, man, they're going to do away with public education. And they find it any way to sort of just run it out the building faster and faster. He has to understand his position. When you sign up, you take an oath for that, because he's also a mandated reporter. So for any inappropriate behavior that he would have witnessed, then he would have had to report that. So it's not demonizing. It's this. I think stuff like this, I said this last night, it's a good learning tool for anybody that's going into a space where you are in charge of children, teenagers, adolescents, however you want to look at it. You have to read the documentation. Just because it's in the school, and I'm sure that was nothing sanctioned by the principal, because stuff like that has to run through the principal. He can get a consent all he wants. Did he take those consents to the principal? Did the principal agree to that? Did he say specifically in that consent, the students will be braiding my hair occasionally for TikTok? Because if not, then he puts himself in that compromising position. He's a young guy. We can say it's a mistake, yes, but the Board of Education at any other school district will see that on his record for why he was fired. So he's putting himself financially in a bind. He may have to go to a whole nother career option because those things follow you within education.
You're
So
right. You're right. He might be putting himself in a bind to where he loses his job. He already lost his job. Financial situation is arguable. He might get in a better financial situation than any teacher could have gotten. But did we lose a possibly good teacher? Because absolutely. And that's my point that I'm making. It's not about his actions. I again, that's why I emphasize I don't agree with his actions. But the point of what Payne said, and he couldn't have said it better, selective outrage is part of our issue in our community. We have selective outrage. And we sit there, you're right, I would say don't have no social media in public schools, but ain't nobody sitting there fighting for that. So why are we sitting here acting like they are? Nobody's fighting for no social media. And I think that would be the best scenario in my opinion. But ain't nobody selecting that. They're sitting there, oh, well, we allow them. We're not, I would say no social media for anybody under 18, if you ask me.
You know what, Sean, let me say something, and this is on the same topic. First of all, I think we should lean into social media and make it part of the curriculum. We should learn how to teach people how to use social media responsibly because it's never going to go away. And there's some tips and there's some things that we should have classes about. Hey, listen, here's a social media. Here's the things you could do with it besides just gossip. Here's how you can possibly monetize it at some point. Here's how you can help people. Here's how you can reach people. I think that's what we really need to do with it. You know, and so that's why I didn't have no problem with him being on social media because it's not going to go away. We got to stop complaining about social media. We need to learn how to use it better.
That's a
if
good
that's the case,
point.
it needs to be some type of elective in college or something. Yeah. Honestly, thinking about it, when Facebook first came out, it was everybody couldn't have it. You had to be in college. You had to have like a student ID number or ID or whatever. It was so exclusive, right? At that time. Mm-hmm. Now everyone can have it. And I think it needs to go back to being selective. Because not only are you seeing things like this on social media, but you're seeing people dropping dead on social media. You got to go to social media to see your family member done passed away because everyone has access to it. Everyone can do something with it. And I think that's where the floodgates open to all the bad influences, the bad choice making, because everyone can do it. Everyone's TikToking. Let me just set my freaking phone up in the high school. Kids in high school can't even have their phones with them in class, right? They have to keep their phones in their locker. They have to keep their phones. But do you think that those rules are being, that kids follow those rules? No. And the teachers, they have their phones right there with them too.
And that lends
telephones in there if you had in case of emergency.
That
had telephones in there.
Yeah,
but now you have a screen with that. It's just a distraction. Social media has always was meant to be a distraction. Always.
That's the point.
That's cool, but don't do it when the distraction doesn't need to be a distraction at a time. It don't need to be a distraction. I say in college, when you make your own decisions, you want to take it as an elective. Okay, have professors in there letting you know how to, excel in social media. Go ahead, do it or whatever. But to have that in school, kids are not, and parents aren't really, I come from the era, my parents had everything on lock. Okay, we had locks on the TVs, we had locks on AOL. We couldn't just go to any site. We couldn't. Now there is none of that. Parents aren't really doing the parenting. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. They're not really doing the parent. The teacher shouldn't be doing it. It should be starting at home. No, you don't have any social media. No, you can't have your phone from this time to this time. No, you can't be sleeping next to your phone. Your phone need to be in another room. That parents need to do that, not teachers.
So I think one of the issues
when they do stuff like this. I'm sorry.
No, you fine. I didn't know you done? Okay. One of the things is moonlighting. you can't do that. You own your job at one job, but you doing another job of doing your social media, because it was a job for him. Let's be honest, it was a job for him. He was getting some type of compensation from it, so he was moonlighting. So now you're supposed to be locked in, focused on teaching, and even if it was downtime, you should have used that downtime to be doing something else besides getting your hair done, and especially putting it on social media. I know why you was trying to do it, trying to protect yourself and all that, and that's cool. But dude, you was moonlighting. And so a lot of companies don't take kindly to that stuff. I can't be at my job doing my job, but yet I'm on the stream doing that. Yeah, that's not cool. It's not cool at all. So you can get yourself in trouble. Believe you me, I know. I got in trouble for that before. I got written up. So, you know what I'm saying? Because of that, you can't do that. And so what he was doing was that. Now, what was this the first time he got caught up? I don't know. But it was the last, because they fired him. You know, I don't agree with them firing him. If it was his first time doing it, maybe a warning, a stern written warning, or maybe even a 5 unpaid days of suspension. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Cannoning, I think it's extreme. I don't think it should have been to that point. But I think he if you look back on, he made a bad decision.
Yes. Yeah.
He made a bad decision, and unfortunately, it cost him his job. I don't think it should have cost him a job. I think to the most he should have got suspended, maybe 5 days, a week or so, even 30 days max. To the max. But to the point of canning him, I don't agree with that. But like I said, I feel like if there was a woman, this wouldn't be a conversation. I believe since it was a man, they had to make an example out of him.
Ooh,
you're right, because
say
there are
that again.
videos of women doing it. I think one lady came out and was like, well, since he got fired, well, here go my video. Y'all ain't saying nothing about my video. So you're right, but I don't think anyone should be touching anyone. If it's going to be, if it's good for him, it should be good for the women too. Don't have these kids all up in your head. It's just not sanitary at all.
And I agree with that. But Payne, you made a very valid point. We saw Catch Me If You Can, but having it be a teaching moment is something that could have been explored. You know, in addition to this, the consequences or whatever retaliation. I'm sorry, whatever consequence he had to face, but having it be a teaching moment deliberately and intentionally, to where they use it as an example for whether it be for teachers, for students, or both. Because really, that's the reason that I'm saying that we continuously complain about circumstances like this, and we continuously fail our community in circumstances like this, because we have selective outrage, and that outrage has a lot of victims, and sometimes victims who aren't even warranted to be victims. And then we have people who run out there amok and doing crazy stuff, and they get no consequences, i.e. politicians, i.e. Officers at times, the people who abuse their authority, which is what I think he did. He abused his authority and his connection and his job. He abused it and made a horrible choice for a selfish reason. He wanted to get his hair. That's selfish, and it's abuse of his authority. I agree, but making it a teaching moment, Payne, I think it was on to something that might be something that we should try and explore at times when we come up with these circumstances that go viral in our communities.
Black Thoughts with the $2 says, I'm happy he's fired. He clearly wasn't the adult. I wanted to highlight this as well. For 4540 works too. Says if he was trying to protect himself by recording, then he knew it was wrong in the first place. And that is a very good point. That's a good point. You know it was wrong in the first place. What you're doing it. I
Wrong.
think
We know it's sensitive. It's a sensitive topic. And because he's a black man, he's a
no,
black
it
man.
was wrong, Sean. It
It's
was
wrong.
I
wrong.
mean, again, I'm not condoning it. So you're right. But the point being is, right now, the reason why it's wrong is because that whole subject is a sensitive issue. Men in our community is why I'm so passionate about it, are continuously having to walk on eggshells because we are victims and we are targets to society. Black men in our community, we are targets. And this he failed us because he basically instigated and incited even further to the stereotype. I agree with that wholeheartedly. He definitely made a horrible choice. But the outcome of that choice is that we still go deeper as a victim in our communities, and we're looked at even further demonized in our communities. And that's where my passion is coming from.
I just want to make sure I understand it. Are you lumping this behavior and situation in with brothers being victimized in the community?
Am I lumping it? No. Is this could this be a reaction? Absolutely.
Yeah, I would just listen. We all get new jobs every once in a while, and we all are given the employee handbook. This is something that is not taken lightly in any level, especially in public schools, because one, everything runs through the principal. If you're going to be engaged with any students after school, or if there's going to be any, let's just say if it was just a karate instructor giving the students instructions on how to perform karate, those consents have to be signed also, and it would have to be under the supervision of a school official for that thing to happen. You just can't have a karate instructor show up and all of a sudden he's slamming your students, because without the proper technique, then you done got your little student's arm, neck, leg broke, and you the father heard that somebody done slammed your son. You ready to come up to the school and, you know, with your piece be still. So I mean, it's not, and to me, I don't think it's a point about demonizing and victim, making them a victim in a sense. Is that these are, like Alvin said, these are good teaching moments, because in the inner city school, only stuff like this happen. When you go to suburban schools, and one thing that I think hurts inner city schools is that for the most part, they have no collective bargaining within the community. You need that collective bargaining to sort of have a larger voice in what goes on within your school. Hey, if the students were interested in learning this skill, one, why not bring in the professional? You can get resources from the principal as long as you write it out professionally and say, hey, I would like to have an out to school program or doing lunch program where students can learn how to braid, lock, do all of that good stuff. Then you bring in the professional. I can't teach kids how to shave a bald head and say, here, man, go ahead and start shaving. It's totally, out of the question. It's totally inappropriate. So you have to just understand the protocols. It wouldn't have been no problem to go to the principal. She would have let him know right then. Oh, no, you can't do that. But to do it, then again, social media is the detriment of us, because a lot of times we still making low-level decisions. We got to think past that. First thought I would have thought was, what would happen to me if somebody saw them braiding my hair? Oh, okay. Bad idea. Let me get someone else. How about y'all work on each other? Y'all practice on each other. You know, wash and dry, wash your hair tonight at home, come back to school. You might have a messed up head, but by the time you leave here, y'all can all just be sitting there braiding each other's hair. And 6 o'clock come around, y'all get on the bus, everybody go home, admire the work of your fellow student, take pictures, put it on y'all social media, whatever it take. Me, I'm gonna go get my hair done tonight. I know somebody can lock it up or twist it up, whatever. And I'll come back and we all can marvel in our new hairdo. So, but you just got to think above that. Can't do it. Especially a male. There's very few men that are willing to go into the schools. But when you go, man, you can't be, I don't know, man. I don't know. You just have to think as a father. How would you feel if somebody put their hands inappropriately on your child, male or female? How would you feel if a woman? And this is my last thing. If you are within the vicinity of that school and you're one of those parents that maybe agree he shouldn't have got fired, then this is a great time to show up. This is a great time to start being engaged within the school. If you are that parent and you want to see a change within your student and the school, get 5 of your friends, the kids that go to that school, their parents, and everybody show up. Show up on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Show up 3 days a week for lunch and tell the principal, we want to be a part of what's going on. They're going to let you in. And you just move accordingly. Because without that, I'm telling you, public schools, I give it, since ain't nobody learning nothing, so they say, brothers don't want to read, sisters don't want to do nothing, it's going to be almost over. It's going to be almost over because they're not taking it serious enough. So,
unfortunately, that doesn't make it any better. We already have a lack of Black men in the profession to begin with. Arthur Timberlake says, no way in hell any of these men on this panel would be okay with their daughter doing this to their male teacher. Would anyone be okay with your daughter? All of it.
No. I mean, I think that's clear, but
okay.
I think the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Yeah, I think we all said no, but I even took it a step further and said even if it was a female teacher, it's still a no.
Right. Author also says color has nothing to do with it. Right is right and wrong is wrong. He was wrong. Black Lexicon says, I say this although comical, but when it was played in slow motion, it was like I could see a demon is in his eyes. If he hadn't got fired, the behavior would probably have continued. Yeah, it would have been innocent on his end, but you got to think about young teenage girls, and unfortunately, they are going through changes that they can't even explain to you. So you have to protect your children even at the detriment of them, right? Just like Mr. Lego always says, women are children. You protect your woman even from herself. It's the same thing with kids. You protect them from themselves because they don't know, or they don't have the awareness or the totality of awareness to think of what could happen. What are the long-term effects of this? What does it even look like on the outside? They're not thinking like that.
Right.
So the adults have to think like that for them. Black Lexicon says, I made a comment that he was giving them thought skills, even if it wasn't intentional. I don't know if it was thought skills. I just think, and I know what you mean when you say that, meaning I'm in the middle, all these women are around me, almost like that, like the bottle girls, the bottle girls come up around whoever is spending the money at the and the section, and it's usually the guy, you know what I mean? But again, it's the visual, right? You gotta protect the visual. You gotta protect the babies, and they're not thinking of it like that because they're just not. And people probably would say, well, adults shouldn't be thinking of it like that. Well, If there is an emergency exit, I want the adults to know exactly where all of the emergency exits are, not just where the one in the front is, because we're in the front. So no, you gotta be thinking about all angles. Okay, this is what happens when real men don't run the community. I just think that he's a young man learning a lesson, and he will probably never do this again, or he'll probably honestly never go back to teaching and just start a full content creation career. Maybe it was a step out the door. I don't know, but I think it's a lesson learned. It's a lesson learned in an age where social media has run rampant. It has gotten him in trouble. So it could either be his pistol
What's your relationship with your kid?
or something that he
Agreed.
just learns from. So we're gonna get into this.
Agreed.
We spent enough time on that topic. So I don't know. Have you guys seen the Gary Owen Shay Shay interview? Have you guys kind of cracked in
Yes.
on it already?
I've watched it.
Okay, so I haven't watched it in totality. I watched the clips that were put out. And so in this clip right here, Shay Shay's pretty much saying to Gary, like, look, word on the street is that you're a deadbeat. What's going on with that situation? And this is Gary Owen's response.
Hear that you're a deadbeat. What's your relationship with your kids right now?
I don't have one. It's been three and a half years.
Really?
Yeah.
How hard is that for you?
What do you think? It's a nightmare. It's like they're my greatest accomplishments and my greatest failure at the same time. But to see how it's just crashed and burned since the divorce, and this is all since the divorce.
Do you believe she played a role in the divide with your kids?
I'll say I'll take the blame because I didn't ensure that my relationship with them was so strong that no matter what anybody said to them, they could be like, nah, my dad's good. So, I was gone a lot.
Right.
I'm on the road.
Right.
And that's part of it. But I really don't know. I don't want to throw stones and stuff I
Without
don't
knowing.
know. I don't know if she's at the house saying your dad ain't I don't know. I mean, I do know blasting me on social media didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
And then other shit happened. We'll get into in a little bit. I just don't know where it got so bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? That I'm just literally the worst human being on the planet. And
I'm going to stop it right there because I think this is about, 6 minutes long. So we're going to stop it right there for right now. He says that he doesn't know how it got so bad that now he's the worst man on the planet. What do you guys have to say about him and his reasoning behind him being called a deadbeat? Because, he really tried to take accountability here. With what he was saying in his relationship with his kids.
He's a victim. I don't care what he's saying. All this for the benefit of his kids and his wife, she destroyed his relationship with his kids. She knew what kind of profession he was on. He wasn't going to be around. And I think his real fault was that when he had a chance to nip that shit in the bud, he didn't do it. I would have canceled some shows. I would have said, hey, listen, I'm not going to let you alienate me from my kids. And I would have maybe taken a break off, and said, hey, listen, this is where I'm going to live. And I would let everybody know. And I would use the court system. I would have used the court system because he had a little bit of money to make sure that she wouldn't be able to alienate me from my children without me putting up the fight of my life. So he's at fault for that. But the fact that he didn't say that is because just like most men do, just like Shaq said for that old shiftless old wife he had, who said she never loved him and took all his money, and he came out with one of the best lines a man could say because he couldn't have said nothing else. So men don't generally trash their wives like that, even if they could. Look what Angelina Jolie is doing to Brad Pitt. She's still on his ass. Kids are all grown. So that's not really a man thing to come out and go crazy. Maybe Brian McKnight might be the exception. But you know what I'm saying? But it's usually not a man thing. That's what I'm saying. So he's taking one for the Gipper. He's taking one on the chin.
Now, look, I think Gary Owen doesn't have a leg to stand on. His ex-wife, Kenya, was 100% wrong in my opinion, for blasting a lot of the things because they had a very public, messy divorce. And when it was finally revealed like how things kind of broke down, Gary admitted essentially he had been cheating almost the entire time, right? So he had an ex-wife who was a woman scorned. She went scorched earth on his ass. Yet, without knowing them or anything about it, what I'm reading with what the kids are doing, I think that the kids have the information. His ex-wife likely shared what their father was doing, and those kids formed their own opinion about how they feel about their father based on the actions that he already did. So, to what Arpay was saying, yeah, Gary's not even a trasher. He really doesn't have a leg to stand on. He fucked up the entire time. I think that the kids do know what went down, and for Kenya to still say, "Well, he is your father," it's like,
yeah. That's what she's supposed to say. That's what she's supposed to say. She's not supposed. Hey, listen, I'm gonna sit down and talk to my kids about my husband's infidelity. No,
exactly.
I mean, come on, man. But I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Listen, you got a famous man. He's going to be stroking chicks. Hey, listen, man. You know, women who marry these guys have a tacit understanding that their men are going to be banging out some honeys from time to time. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, but he wasn't like that then. He
you got to have practice, brother.
He rose to fame, and he wasn't. He didn't
you can't
have
involve the kids.
Discipline.
You're right. You're right about that, Paul.
I'm not saying. Hold on. To clear it up, I'm not saying that Kenya was right in the way she did. I think she was dead wrong. It's still that's a tall order and a tough ass to still say, support me by saying that's still your dad.
Okay, I hear you, but I don't agree. But I hear you.
No,
it might be a tough task for a woman, but I don't think it's that tough for a dude.
I agree with our pain, and I think sometimes that's where we in our community we shortchange our children. We put our children in our adult matters, and that just like if me and you friends and Miss Precious did something to me, and I was like, man, Miss Precious, she's mean and she this and she do all that, and me and you best buddies though. You go form an opinion about her, and you ain't even talk to her. So I think, you know, you in this situation, especially, you know, as they were married, what he did to his wife was wrong. Infidelity is wrong. You've already, you know, saying you put in the time, you beat the odds, you got over the 7-year itch, and you moving up in your career. So you putting yourself, and you got an opportunity to put yourself and your family in better conditions, better living conditions, better lifestyle. And because they always putting the finger down at us brothers saying that we can't control. Hey, he in the same goddamn boat. Accept that shit, pull your goddamn pants up and ride that shit out. Now, it's never beneficial to the children when adults bring children into their adult mess. You can't let them formulate that on their own. Because would that make him a bad father because he cheated on their mother? No. But when you start saying, you know, putting that information out to the children, because I'm sure they had conversations in their little private spaces. Daddy, you know, no telling what she told them. So they're going to formulate it because he's been in their life all their life. So it shouldn't be a reason why they have a dislike for him at any point. Because if he's talking to them, saying, look, me and mama might not make it. However, y'all my babies. I'm going to ride with y'all 1,000%, whenever, however, wherever, then that can carry a lot of weight. But when the children start making comments and they start pulling back, I can see how it would affect any man. A lot of black men are being affected by that right now. So it's just unfortunate that it's a typical, you know, behavior that we see. We bring the kids into it. And then once you do that, the whole dynamic falls apart. Those kids may never recover from that. So it's just bad.
Hey, He went out and started a whole new family, having a set of twins out the whole deal.
So you don't think the mother was mad? He broke her
Or she
home.
was.
Oh, she was mad. She was mad for sure. I am curious. I have to ask this question and then bounce. Precious talked at the beginning about being honest with your family and things like that. Let's paint a certain picture. How are you then telling your kids that mom and dad's not working out? And then, like, let's say, because I think Gary's youngest at the time might have been like 13, and they ask why. What are you saying to your
Um,
kids?
See, I think people think that you have to have this elaborate explanation to kids, and you have to tell them exactly what's going on. But the truth of the matter is, mommy and daddy can't work together. We can't work together in this area.
But mommy Precious, why? Like, why can't y'all work together?
Because we're on the same team, but we're not acting like we're on the same team.
But I don't understand. Last year y'all were happy.
We were happy, and this year some things happen, and now we have to separate. But we're still going to be here and parent you guys and love you guys, but we're just not going to be on the same team anymore.
But it just doesn't make sense. You're mommy and daddy.
And we're still going to be here to love you. We're still going to be mommy and daddy. We're
It's
still
true,
going to
man.
love you.
It's
See, I
not gonna
think the
kids.
thing is, people want to do the separate, and are they going to be at this house, and are they going to be at that house, and instead of still seeing it as a team. You know what I mean? Like, you may not be able to work in marriage anymore as a team, but you still should be able to work as parents as a team, because the children are the reason for the union. I mean, people usually get together, they get married, and then they want to have children because they want some type of life spring out of this union. People don't just get together to stay together for years unless they didn't already have their kids, or they don't want children. But you should always still be on the same team when it comes to the kids, even if y'all not on the same team when it comes to your marriage. Y'all couldn't work it out as adults in a marriage, but you should always be able to work it out for your kids. And if you can't do that, then you really have a problem, because that's when your kids are going to start to take sides. That's when your kids are going to start to see who mommy and daddy really are. But if you're honest with them from the jump, hey, we can't work in a marriage. We don't work well as in a team that way. But as parents, oh yeah, we're gonna always love you. We're gonna always take care of you. We're always gonna be here for you. Whenever you need us, you call us. But I think people make it a little bit harder than it needs to be, or feel like you have to have the perfect answer for children. And they just want to still know that you love them. I think that Gary said it. He said, look, I dropped the ball. I was away. I was, on the road. I was not there cultivating a relationship with them like I should have. So when something happened, I could be confident that my children wouldn't turn against me. So he didn't do that part in order to seal his relationship in his kid's life. But I also still believe that it's the other parent's responsibility, again, to be a cheerleader for that other parent, no matter what that parent did to you personally, because again, it's about the kids. And one thing women can't do is women cannot let go of heartbreak, heartache, cheating, anything that puts their emotions in the negative state of being. They cannot let it go. So those children were doomed because of the way the mother conducted herself. No, he wasn't there, but he was providing for a family, something that she chose to get into, something that she knew that he would be doing. So again, you have to be a team for the kids, not for y'all, because y'all gonna go y'all own separate ways and do whatever y'all need to do on your own separate levels to be happy individually. But you still have kids to raise. You gotta be one band, one sound when it comes to the kids. If you can't do that, then you done failed in life. Honestly, you done failed in life because the people that come from you can't even have their parents be on one accord, and that's a shame. That's a shame.
So let me speak on this video. As far as this whole situation, yeah, she mad. Like I said, the whole divorce thing it was bad. It was real bad. But at the end of the day, you should try to cultivate that relationship between the kids and the father. Because if it wasn't for him, that lifestyle he living wouldn't be the lifestyle he living. Because when he came in, he was a stepfather already. She came in with a child. He took her child in, because her oldest is not his at all. They had, I think, 2 children together. I think that's what they end up having, 2 kids together. So with that situation, I think she's kind of mad because he moved on and has a relationship, and she's still by herself. She has nobody right now, so she's feeling some type of way. So she's definitely dogging the man's name out. You know what I'm saying? She's definitely doing that. She's definitely put a lot of salt in the wound, because a mother has a lot of influence on a kid, whether y'all want to believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they, the kids are still living with her in some form or fashion. I think 2 of the kids are still living with her. One's in college, getting her college paid for by the father, but they can't stand you. They steadily taking the money, you know what I'm saying? Steadily taking that tuition paid for, but I can't stand my daddy. What type of hypocrite are you? If you really don't like him, you wouldn't accept nothing from him. Not a phone call, not no money, not no type of communication. You'll disown him. Matter of fact, you're ready to go to the point where you ready to change your goddamn name. You're so disgusted by this man. But that's not the case. You're still taking his money. If somebody was to ask you, is your daddy? You'd probably still say yes and claim him and utilize that clout in every way, in any way possible. Yeah, you're going to do all of that. Your mother still benefit from the clout. She's still getting compensated. She's still getting well taken care of. So she's still benefiting from it, but yet she's going to do what she can and take her shots at him whenever she can, because she hurt. She mad because he done moved on. Now he got 2 new kids. She feeling some type of way. Now this new woman about to get the lifestyle she used to have. Her lifestyle had to change. She ain't got it no more. And now she older and dried up. Probably ain't nobody checking for her, and he still got a chance. You know what I mean? To the point he done made 2 more kids with a new woman. Yeah, she big man. It is what it is. Is that the new woman?
No,
that's
Yeah, she went for the black girl magic, and look what happened.
So he mad, she mad. That's all right. She be all right. She get over herself. Somebody like Al Payne to come save her.
No, well, first of all, that wasn't that funny, okay? What's going on?
You're on mute.
Both of y'all was muted.
I was saying hello, Passport Salvation.
How y'all guys doing?
What's
All
up?
right.
Hello, Arthur Timberlake. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you. What would you like to add to the show before we continue on with the video?
Well, piggybacking off what Hank said, that's pretty much what I guess Shaq went through with Shawnee Henderson, wherever she changed the name to, where she was pretty much milking Shaq's legacy to have the life that she pretty much was able to carry after her and Shaq got divorced, on top of her coming in with a kid and Shaq giving her the lifestyle that she has, and then, you know, her coming out with that book out of nowhere saying that, oh, she knows she never really loved him, which kind of is like, why do you say that now? And that's what her new husband should be worried about, is, you know, that should be an alarming. But, you know, back to the topic with Gary Owens. I think Gary Owens, he probably didn't realize he was going to have the rock star life. And I guess that's why he kind of got married. But then when, I guess, his trajectory shot through the roof, and now he's, you know, getting that rock star lifestyle, you know, and then him coming across to Fighting Temptation, you know, he probably just fell victim to the lifestyle. You know, it's kind of hard to turn down all these women that's throwing himself at him, especially if he's attracted to them. Now, what I don't understand about his wife is how does she want him to be present more, but still maintain the same lifestyle that he's providing? That doesn't make no sense. That's why I never understand why a lot of these wives that get married to these professional athletes, you know, they'll complain about the same thing about he's never there, but he can't do both. He can't play the millionaire sports or acting and be there for you 24/7. Because look how many people broke up during the pandemic when they were around each other a whole lot more, and then, you know, then everybody started breaking up, and then realized that they don't like each other. So I would say that Gary Owens shorted himself with his trajectory, and, you know, I guess he just kind of paid for it. But at the same time, he shouldn't blame himself, because she knew what he was she knew what she was signing up for when he's a comedian. Obviously, comedians have to tour, go to different cities to make all this money that she loves to go and buy all of her handbags. He can't do both. That's all I'm saying.
I would agree with that. Author?
And I want to add to that, you know, more than likely she got with this man, Gary Owens, when he was in the process of being a comedian, traveling and everything like that. That's what attracted her to him. So why is she acting brand new now? Now, granted, the cheating side of things, I don't agree with that. He should have kept it up front with her and be like, yo, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be tempted. I'm not going to be around you as much. This is what it's going to be. You know, a lot of days, and now in 2004, we all know that, you know, there's a lot of females that will accept that as long as you're upfront with them. But don't act brand new about it now that, you know, there's children involved. And then also, by him being a high status celebrity, I've noticed a lot of celebrities, women more so, get divorced from their men after a couple of years. They pop a couple babies out to solidify that child support. A lot of women in that industry with these celebrities, they have children by these celebrities to secure that bag. And I think that's a horrible way of living, because, you know, like, come on, you can, if you're with a celebrity in these high statuses, use their resources to do your own thing, to make your own bag. Why do you have to use him through marriage or children to get what you want out of him? You know, if you're going to use him,
that's
use his resources.
Least path of resistance.
Well, can I say this? First off, y'all might not have looked at the interview, because Gary himself said opposite of what a lot of people are accusing. He filed for divorce. She didn't. When she did, it was because he told her when the processor was on the way, oh yeah, by the way, I'm not happy, and, you know, be aware processor might be coming to the door. He admitted that. Also, he admitted that he was had infidelity issues because he couldn't take the pressure, to your point, of all of the new attention that he was getting when he was a virgin at 19. And then all of a sudden, when he got on BET and he started getting famous, all of the opportunities that were coming his way, he did not know how to handle. That was something else that he admitted. So we got to be clear, because part of one of the things that I was mentioning, and Gary's not a black man, but he's an official black guy. But the demonizing that I was speaking of earlier, it wasn't about the specific portion of what the person did. It was about how we start portraying certain things when we don't even know all of the information. And that goes for men and women. Like right now, we're portraying this woman as a gold digging, something another, not directly and maybe not intentionally, but that's how it comes across. And we don't even know all the information. And we do that in our communities often. And so, with that being said, I say that's why we need to be a bit more mindful and kind of pay attention to what we do and how we add to some of the issues that we complain about often.
Yeah, that's why I said that he shorted himself when he got married to her because he never expected for that to happen. But at the same time, I mean, they should stay a united front at least for the kids and not turn his kids against him or not allow him to see his kids and be a father.
Well, I again, that wasn't something that he admitted that she did not do. His kids they were at ages where they started deciding on disconnecting. For example, his daughter was summa cum laude or valedictorian, I can't remember, and he went to her graduation after being estranged from her, and he was told when he got there, do not approach her. And he wasn't told that by the mother. He was told that by the school. So those were sentiments of his daughter. He said he saw his daughter in the airport, and his daughter waved at him and then hid in the bathroom waiting for him to leave because she wasn't ready, apparently. Now, I'm not saying that the mother is innocent because I believe she had a lot to do with those sentiments. So don't get it twisted that I'm condoning. I agree. I won't assume that, but that's why I don't say it definitively, but a safe assumption is what you're saying, Payne, and I agree. It's a safe assumption that the mother had a lot to do with it, if not to your point, all to do with it. But it's an assumption nonetheless.
So how could so if she's the primary parent that is around the children most of the time, I don't see how the kids would just grow up and just naturally not want a relationship with their father. Even if the father is not as present as he wants to, but he shows up, I guess, when he can, at least when he's off the road or however this setup is. I just don't see how they would totally not want him around especially if he's trying to make an effort.
Okay, so again, you didn't see the interview because he actually addressed that as well. He said that his stepfather, who was a trucker, was significantly out his life while he was pursuing to get the bag to save the money, to get the money. Well, while he said he did everything to combat that because of his experiences, that he might have failed because he was still on the road and absent, even though he came to a lot of the events that he felt was important. Obviously, they felt differently. And that's how it can happen naturally without a mother instigating it. And if you've been in the entertainment industry, I know a lot of entertainers who specifically their children are resentful because they wasn't there enough. My daughter, for example, I asked her, because I've been in the entertainment industry, I asked her, hey, were you did you wish things were different? And she told me no. And I said, come on, you got to be serious. You wasn't raised in my house. You don't think? And she said no, because you was always there. So she had that perception. But also she said that when I took her to places my work, to conventions and places, she felt like I could have spent more time with her. And I said, the way I looked at it is that I violated my job and compromised my job to bring you with me so that I wouldn't have to be apart with you when it was my turn to have you. And I took that initiative and risked my job and told my job, if you got an issue with my daughter being here, then you got an issue with me being here. And my job accommodated me. And she said, you know what? Now as an adult, I see it differently. I understand that point of view because I didn't think of it as you was taking me to your job. I thought of it as you was doing your job and not paying attention to me.
May I say something?
You were able to have that conversation with her.
Gary, again, this is when she was 20. This is when she was 20, damn near 8 years old. It wasn't early on. So this just recently happened. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that she felt that way. But when I shared to her my perspective, she was like, oh, I see your perspective, because now she got a job. Now she got responsibilities. And now she can understand that. I said, just think, if you had a child, would you be taking her to your job? And she was like, no. I said, so just think about it. I was taking you to my job, even though it wasn't appropriate for you as a child, the environment, even though it wasn't appropriate for me to even be bringing you to my job at times. I still took that risk and made that compromise because that's what I wanted to do. And she appreciated it differently when in fact she told me, in other words, she resented it initially.
I just want to say I agree with that 100%, and I see what you're saying. You was showing her the sacrifices you made to be in her life, even though you had a busy schedule. 100%, I agree with that, and I do the same thing with my child. Now, I'm gonna give a little insider about my personal life. Growing up, I had a father. He was present initially, but he was very emotional and physically abusive. And even into my adulthood, I still reached out to him, try to be in his life because, I was a daddy's boy. And, once I came into like 23, 24, I just decided like it's not worth the effort anymore. But what's saying that is a child naturally, if the father is present, they naturally yearn for that presence, that fatherly presence. So this is why I don't agree with that the mother, and you spoke on that briefly. I don't agree that the mother did not have a say so in the mix of their children not wanting to be a part of their father's life. Because like you said, you sacrifice. They know that their father sacrificed to go out here, make the money to provide for them. I'm sure they're living in a beautiful home. How would they get that if the father wasn't out here making the means to provide for them? Even though he may not have been present like they would like to, but they know he's still providing. I'm sure he still provided for them through child support.
This is where the United Front.
To answer that, you're right. Okay. No, all I was saying is you're right. All I said is I don't want to assume and make an assumption. And that's part of where we have a disconnect often, is that we assume because of and it could be a safe assumption, because I believe that you're probably right. But to what Precious said earlier, Mr. Leggo say, women are children, so I don't expect anything less. And we'll just leave it there.
But like I said, that doesn't make any sense, because if she's poisoning them to go to say that, oh, your dad could have been here, but he chose to work over you, compared to your dad has to provide. So you got to be, dad's gonna try to make the next one saying it like that, compared to saying it like, oh, your dad's choosing work over you, and then keep planting those seeds in the children's head. I just, like I said, I just don't see. Me growing up, so everybody's sharing a little bit. Me growing up, my father, of course, had to work more than my mom. So, if I don't know, if I was in football practice and, I see other fathers there, obviously I could see my father working, even when I was in elementary school, I could see my father working. So I'm not going to be like, well, he should come watch me at flag football practice, compared to him going to work, because if he doesn't go to work, he can't pay the bills. Now we're going to be on the street. I don't see that everything coordinates with each other, or maybe just me. I was able to understand that when I was in elementary school. So I don't know.
It could be both. I think you might have been able to understand it, but the only point that I was going to make earlier is that you said she poisoned him. I would say it like this. Perhaps that's the case, but I would word it like this. He gave her the poison. She fed it to him.
How could he give her the poison if his profession? But his profession is for him to be on tour.
According to him. No. I was in that profession. That's not the case. He chose certain things that he admitted to, that he could have been there differently.
It sounds like he's taking the high road. It sounds like he's taking the high road, just like how Shaq took the high road. Because obviously, he can't be as honest as he wants to, because then this the black media and sisterhood and shade room, all of them, they're going to attack him and try to destroy his career. Obviously, same reason why Shaq didn't want to go at Shawnee is because he needs those endorsements and everything he's built up. He's going to lose it all if he goes and talking about, oh, I built you. That's why you held my last name for all these years to build up your life. If you would have said it like that, they would have technically semi-canceled him.
That's a safe assumption, but it's again an assumption, and it's coming from the assumption from your perspective.
It's not an assumption. It's not an assumption. We live in it, man.
It's a good time to finish
right now.
The
The Department of Homeland Defense got a whole list of black men or men from the manosphere that they want to destroy. I mean, that's just real.
Your pain ain't talking about that. I think it's a great time to finish the video. Jesus Christ.
What you say, Hank, man? What you talking
about? Nothing. I'm saying you ain't talking about nothing. I was saying, Precious, I think it's a great time to.
Yep. We're going to get back into the clip.
Jesus Christ.
It's funny. I ran into my ex last week. We was on a plane. I'm on a plane from Atlanta to Cincinnati.
Come on, Gary.
I ain't got no reason to lie now. I just said I cheated. That's been the freaking elephant in the room. So I got nothing to hide anymore. So I'm sitting there and I sit on the plane. I go, ain't no way this is happening. Ain't no way this is happening.
That's what I'm saying.
I went like, I was in the window like.
You like a kid. You like a kid looking out the window.
Yeah, that's my bag. So she didn't see me when she got on the plane. We go to baggage claim. She sees me. She comes up. We start talking, asking her like, how do we get this right with the kids? And then I keep telling her like, look, when they call, I'm there. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I got to show them, cancel it. The minute they say, Dad, I'm ready to talk, I'm out.
Right.
I'll go to where they're at. So when I talked to her about the kids, I told her, I said, I wish you would
help
just
facilitate
say it's time. It's time, because they do listen to you.
Yes.
Enough.
Mm-hmm.
There's no abuse here. There's no mental abuse. There's no physical abuse. They had a great childhood.
Yes.
Great. Private school, paid for my daughter's college. I mean, just stuff you're supposed to do if you have it as a dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't know how I became this evil human being that they want nothing to do with. I was like, I'm not perfect. I read somewhere that somebody said, when you go through the divorce, when kids are little, they idolize their dad. Mm-hmm. And then when divorce happens, they demonize them. And then as time goes by, they humanize them. Mm-hmm. Clearly, I'm in the demon stage right now. But it's just been so long that I got to sneak around to try to just lay eyes on them. Like when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stop it right there because so earlier I was talking about, parents being on the same team for the kids. And it seems as though he ran into her at the airport. They were on the same plane, then got back down to baggage claim. And he's asking her like, look, what can we do? It's been so long. I haven't talked to them. They're not talking to me. What can we do? They listen to you. He knows this. He knows that the children listen to her. And she didn't even answer him. I was waiting for him to say, okay, she said that, da 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 da. She didn't even, and actually I think she does, but the answer is not favorable. But it's like, when one person is trying and the other person isn't, that's usually the case when it's a parenting situation, any situation, relationship, whatever it is. There's one person trying and then there's one person not. She knows that she has the power. Now, mind you, they have their own minds. They're going to think whatever they want to think. But again, mothers have huge impacts over their children, no matter what age they are. It could be a huge positive impact or a huge negative impact, a little bit of both, whatever. But mom know that she can talk to her baby in such a way that she can go back or he can go back. So it looks like he has one daughter and two sons with her, and now he has a set of twin daughters with someone else. So now this woman is raising a girl and two boys. a girl is seeing and not talking to, not seeing her daddy. 2 boys are not seeing, not talking to their dad. And you have the power, the time, the resources, everything that you need to help the other parent be on the same team as him. No, you may have not liked him for sticking his penis in another side of another woman. But that does not negate the fact that his children are your children. It's not like he went out and cheated on you, and now, or you went out and cheated on, now you don't know. I hope those are all his kids. I hope all of them his. I hope they got a blood test. I hope all of them his. But he is taking a role to, you know, provide for his children. He's out. He's cheating, which is wrong. Okay, I'm not going to say that it's right. It's wrong, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he's a father and she's not helping him along the way while he is out doing whatever he needs to do. And at this point, they all grown. The kids are all grown, but still, I'm sure mom is not saying, "Hey, call your dad." You know, you should call him. There are some things that happened between me and him that should have just stayed between me and him, and it shouldn't have rubbed off on you guys. Don't hold it against him. What he did was to me, not to you. So what do you guys think? Because it seems like he's trying to get on the same page with her, and she and he is staying on that high road. He's staying on that high road.
There's nowhere else for him to go. I mean, you know, I think right now it's all his kids are sunk course. If they're all grown now and they're still listening to a mother like their little children, you know, just love the 2 kids, to do 2 twins, and just be satisfied that your bloodline is going to continue no matter what your ex-wife says, and just that's it. You know what I mean? I would stop pining over them. You know what? That's why you're a man. You got billions of sperm cells. Just go make some more kids. You know?
Arcane, geez.
You know, hell with it, man.
Okay, Arcane.
Keep paying the price.
I think that you know, fathers should always fight for their children. Always. I don't think that, you know, you should give up that fight.
I don't disagree with you, but at some point when they're adults, they need to come towards you, right? You can't. You know, what else can he do? I mean, it's taxing. I mean, if they were still children, I would agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But now as adults, what can he do? They're gonna have to want to. I mean, adult rejection from adult kids is a whole lot worse than from little kids. You know why? Because they know better. They're kids of the world. These are choices that they're making as adults.
Yep.
It's not, and you know, I love you. That's all I can say. I'll love you to the end. And thanks. Have much babies so my bloodline can continue. But other than that, I got 2 more. I'm gonna love them to death. And everything mistake I thought I made with y'all, I'm not gonna make with them.
Yeah, but
His kids out here and just be like, "Oh, well, I can go make some more." So y'all just the hell with y'all. I can't. I think that's more of a male perspective, because you can go make more kids, because you do have a lot of sperm up in there fighting, trying to figure out who's gonna make it to the top. Like that is something I think that a male would think. But I also, you know, he knows and takes responsibility for the part that he played in it.
I agree
I think that a lot of men do not necessarily take accountability or know the part that they play, and they're just like, okay, the kids aren't, you know, cultivating a relationship with you. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the parent, they're the child. They may be an adult child at this point, but you being a parent, a 23, 42, however old the child is always going to see you as the parent.
I agree with you.
Yes,
they're always going to see you.
I do agree with that, but all I can say is the door's still open. My door is open for you for the rest of your life. As long as if you want to step through it, I'm there. But I'm not going to keep banging my head up against the wall. I mean, you know, golly, at some point you got to give yourself some forgiveness, some grace, and some relief.
yes.
Yeah, but
Yellow grass
I'll
is
tell you,
black.
And he did do that.
a parent doesn't have no influence over a kid. You can't act like that's not the case. I don't care how old your child is, you still have some type of influence over your kids. You always will. They will, if they love and respect you, they will always listen to you. My daughter's 28. She still listens to me. I still have some type of influence over her, and she's married. I still have some type of influence over her. That's the way parents are. So we can't sit there and say like she has no capability to have some type of influence. No, she can put a bug in it and a charter. Like, yeah, I know it was hard. It was tough for a few years, but I think you need to really have a sit down conversation, heart to heart, with your father. I think that will be the right thing to do. And guess what that boy gonna do? All right, mama, I'm gonna do it just for you. I ain't doing it for him. I'm doing it just for you. That's all I ask.
Exactly.
And then you will have that conversation go forward from there. But she's not doing that. She's not trying to. She's enjoying watching this man suffer because
That's
she's
right.
hurt.
Yes.
She's bitter.
That's right.
She's mad because he didn't move on. Got some more kids now. She still feel hurt about the whole cheating thing. And everybody publicly knows everything about the whole business. Why? Well, for both reasons. Look, I went to stand up. He talks about it. He talks about the whole thing in the stand up. So it's part of his routine. Talk about the divorce, how he was avoiding getting served in certain states because certain states will cost him more in LA compared to in the state of Florida, where I think is where they end up getting the divorce at. He realizes the laws out there in California are way worse than it is in the state he got it served. So the whole thing is crazy. So yeah, she's feeling some type of way. She's not trying to do anything to ease his burdens or try to help him out. She's not. When you go through divorce, y'all are enemies. Y'all are not on the same page. We're not. It's not going to end cordially. That's not how it goes. The gloves are off, and whatever dirt I could bring to the situation to give me the upper hand, that's what they're going to do. And so, guess what? I got the upper hand. He cheated. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. She's using everything in the whole situation. And so, guess what? She's piling on. Oh, I got him now. Now the kids matter. Oh, I'm. She's getting everything she wants because she feel like it's some type of get back.
Yes, true. And you know what's crazy? This is common what we're seeing. Listen, it's all about selfishness. That's what it's all about. I'm hurt. Everybody damn gonna be hurt in this thing. Fuck them damn kids is basically what I'm doing. Because I'm hurt. You hurt me. And hey, one of our greatest issues as a man is dealing with a scorned woman. We may not ever, we sometimes, a lot of times we don't even outlive that scornness in that woman.
Sure don't.
Every relationship going forward is based off of you hurting her. Man ain't ish. Man ain't that. You can give a man 20 years of your life and he'll leave you and walk out. That's her story. Her kids heard it 50,000 times. Now her daughters are scared to get married, don't want a husband, and you just perpetuate a cycle. If they have children, more than likely, hopefully they'll be married. But if they have children out of wedlock, guess who won't get to see their grandfather? Those children, because mama is all in their ear too. So it's just bad. And, I experienced that myself, and I shouldn't have to fight. If I'm making attempts, I'm showing up, knocking on your door, why come you send the baby out? Send the child out. I ain't got to talk to you. I can say hi and keep it moving. But if I'm doing the things that I was doing before you met me, because we all know, just like any other occupation, if you continue to work, you continue to rise, your income gets a little better, that relief gets a little easy on your pocket. You're able to get that new car now. You got your new place. You coming around shining. You got that new woman with the real hair and the nice she ain't the same no more. You probably go younger. And that, you don't think that plays on their mind? Man, they sleep, they dream about that shit. How in the hell he think he just gonna do that? I'm gonna fix him. And it's just unfortunate because those children, especially, you know, they're missing out on opportunities. There can be doors opening up for them just because they with him in those spaces. They can learn business side of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just unfortunate, but this is, I don't know, it's just seem like it's the norm in our community. It's just unfortunate. That's why I say, give the children to the father. If he's a good guy, righteous guy, regardless of your religion, let the kid just go with him for a couple years. It'll change your life, and it'll change their life too, because now they understand how to navigate their emotions, manage life skills, because a father will protect his child with his own life, and he's going to give the child the best information to be successful, especially in these scary ass days out here. Ain't nobody damn relationship and in marriage, but we all just sexing, nasty ass sex. Come on. That's all I got.
Just nasty. I agree with our opinion. Unfortunately, there's nothing he can do. His hands are tied until his children want to cultivate a relationship with him. Nobody wins in this. So he can always reach out to his children. He can always reach out to them. He can always make the attempts to call. He can always make those types of attempts because no one can take that away from him, right? I don't think that men should just wait around for their children to come into their life because honestly, more times than not, it's not going to happen.
Didn't he say he was in the video? I couldn't say he was. He tried. At least he tried, or he made an attempt.
Right, he tried, and then he said whenever they call, you know, he's ready. But I personally believe that you shouldn't stop attempting. I personally believe that you shouldn't stop attempting. That's just my personal belief. I know a lot of men who have daughters who stopped, who gave up, who said, "Oh, I ain't dealing with that. She got an attitude. I'm good." And that will always be rejection to your child. Your child will always see that as rejection. Your child will always see you not fighting for them. They'll think that you don't love them. That's just a reaction from a child. I don't care who else is involved. The mom may not be advocating for a relationship between you and the kids and things like that. But I don't think that a father should ever stop advocating, reaching out, talking to his children, and having a line, some type of line of communication with them. Now, whether the child communicates back, whether the child, reaches back out, that now that's on them. That's on them. But I believe that fathers should do, because God forbid the day that Gary's no longer here, he could say, "Hey, look, I loved you. I reached out to you. There was nothing stopping me from reaching out to you." So I don't care who's in the mix or who you feel like is getting in your way of you seeing your children or you being there for your children. You should be there for your children even when it's hard, because guess what? When you have a challenge at work, when you have something that you have to overcome, you do it. You don't quit. You don't say, "Oh, the hell with that." You make sure you get it accomplished, because guess what? You want to look like big man around town. You want people to come to you because they think that you can get things done. Well, it should be the same in the father department. No excuses. None.
You have a point. You have a point. I mean, you have a point.
At what point is it where it doesn't make any sense anymore?
No.
When does it not make sense to father your child?
No, not father your child, but communication and relationships is a two-way street. It's not a war. It's not
the street.
The passport.
Who created the street?
Where I buckled.
The parents created the street.
No, well, hold on a second, though, passport. Where I said I agree with her now a little bit, because it really doesn't take that much effort to reach out and to let the kid know the lifeline is still there. You don't have to.
He said he did. He said he did.
What I'm saying, you could always continue to do that. You don't need.
But what I'm saying is that how long does he try to reach out to somebody that doesn't want a relationship with him?
But the point is forever. because it's
Forever.
Yeah,
Nah, I
forever.
don't agree with that. I
So
don't agree
no.
with that.
But what I'm trying to say is, at the point, it's not a real big effort for you to make sure that lifeline is still open. You don't have to beg.
Right.
You ping. It's a ping.
Yep.
Yeah, but if he texts, leaves voicemails, calls, what do you want to do that? Just keep doing that for what, 5-6 years, and then there's no reciprocity?
Well, no, but the point is, you don't have to do that every day. You just put a ping out there once a month, once a week. You set the period. So that's why I understand.
At a certain point, it's a choice. You can't force the relationship if the child's been poisoned or the child just doesn't want it for whatever reason. What can you do as a father?
Relationship, you're doing your part in a relationship that you would do if y'all were talking anyway, right?
Yes, but there's reciprocity there. If there's no reciprocity,
you bring the child into the world, so
Yeah.
you bear the responsibility of the relationship with the child. You made the decision to have this child. Now you're just going to give up on them because of circumstances that you can't have full control over. I see. That's why I think that God gives people children, because He wants you to see the areas that you lack. He wants you to capitalize on your weak areas. That's an area that you would be weak in, but you would be screaming to the top of the roofs in an area that you're very strong in. You will want people to come to you for expertise in an area that you're very strong in, that you would not give up in. We have to understand. We have to look within ourselves and say, okay, why exactly am I quitting on my child?
I look at it like how 50 Cent dealt with his son. He tried and tried and tried. Hold on. He tried and tried and tried, and he just realized that he's too far gone to where he can reel the child back in for all the layers on layers on layers of stuff that happened. So he had no choice but to just love him from afar. 20, 30 years past, however old he is now. I think he's in his early 30s now. And just like what R-Pain said, he just made another son and moved on, because he's not just going to keep hampering on the son, especially if it's firstborn. He's not going to keep hampering on it on somebody that does not want a relationship and that then made their choice eventually. Especially since he tried, he gave up, he came back, tried again, he gave up, came back, tried again, and I guess I think it was like his early 20s when he was hanging out with a son of his friend, somebody. The guy that shot him, his son, he was hanging out with his son, something like that. I guess that's when he kind of draw the line, and he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna move on 100% completely. So, at some point, as a just a man overall, if there's no reciprocity there, he has to let it go. And eventually, if the child ever wants that, he can always come back around, instead of you just keep begging for a relationship that the person doesn't want to give you a relationship back, even if it's your child. I know it'll hurt more, but at some point you have to just allow it to be what it is.
I don't think it's necessarily begging for a relationship. You don't beg a child for a relationship. You make it known that you love them regardless. It's not, oh, come home, I really want to hang out with you, I really want to talk to you, no, I love you, I hope you're safe, call me whenever you get the chance, let's talk sometime. That's it. You're not begging for a relationship. You're making sure your child knows that you love them. Period.
I'm pretty
you make that known. You don't just let it fall by the wayside and say, oh, well, at some point I got to give up. At some point I can't, hang in there. No, you may not go out of your way and, make the visit, or, you may not, have the 4-hour conversation. But like R-Pain was saying, it's a ping. Thinking about you today. Something reminded me of you today. I love you. I hope you're doing well. But people will write off their kids.
I see
you writing off your children is going to have a huge impact on you, because when you get old and that child that you done wrote off, who going to take care of your old ass?
Yeah.
Hospice.
I'm a veteran.
Okay.
I'm going through
I see. I see your point, Passport. But the point is, what 50 did is he displayed a lot of his pain that he couldn't get over, and our
Yes.
ego that he
Thank you.
I'm not. I never said it. I never said that he
no,
would be
right,
100%
right.
comfortable with it.
So that's the reason why I don't really condone it, because our ego will allow us to waddle in that pain instead of being more mature and taking the standpoint that they're speaking to and making, continuing the effort. Now, to your point, yeah, you don't have to go overboard or what have you, but when you write off your kid, you are failing because of whatever reason. And I think in 50 Cent it's pain, and in other people's sense it's the same pain. But get over the pain. Get over it. We talk about women often about getting over their pain. I tell men, get over your pain. You're hurt.
You're not
Okay,
going to
we
get
get it.
over it. You need to find a way to get through it. The only way
Get
out
through
is
it. All right,
through.
that's a
So
better
How are
way
you
you?
need
of
to
But
find a
how,
way
how
to
are you
get
going to have a
through.
relationship with somebody that does not, or at least at the moment, does not want a relationship with you? That's what I'm
easy.
saying.
Men do
They
it all
never
the
want to be
time.
here either.
Men are very consistent and persistent when they want some pussy.
Oh,
And they will
Jesus.
continue to do what they want and do all of these things that we saying, oh, wow, how are we going to do that? They don't want to give it to you, but you keep
If
on
she,
buying them flowers.
okay,
You keep on doing it.
since
You
you
keep
brought
on
that
going
small thing up,
out of the.
if she does not want to give it to you, there's no amount of attention and pressure you can apply
That's not
that she
even the
will
same
give
though,
it to you.
because it's a piece of pussy. We're not talking about a piece of pussy. We're talking about your child, your
What I'm saying,
DNA, a
but what I'm saying
person
is,
that
what
you
I'm
bring
saying,
into this world.
what I'm saying is that the vagina is eventually given to him. Same thing. That's just like the child
The
wanting a
point that I was
relationship. The
making.
child has to want a relationship with
The
the parent.
child didn't want to be here.
Okay,
Like,
okay, but the
word.
child is here. The child is here.
Right. And
But the
whose
point,
responsibility is it to
Both,
take care of that child
both. But
while
he's
it's here?
the child or the children are grown. He's taking care of the child. Now, since there are adults,
So what age does parenting stop, Passport? Please riddle me that.
it never stops. It never stops.
Okay.
But
Sure.
like I said, it's a two-way street on the child wanting a relationship with the parent. There's no way around that.
So that's where parents have to teach their children relationship skills, right? If the parents don't know how to cultivate healthy relationships, the children aren't going to have healthy relationships with their parents.
and
It's
that's
just
a
not
very
going
good
to
point.
happen. It's not. If you don't know, if you get a piece of pussy every time you get around the corner, why do you think that your child is going to love you like the woman at the corner? That's just not how it works. You have to cultivate a relationship. Coochie might come to you, but children aren't.
And the point that you're making, the point that she's making is valid. The reason why I brought up the point of the coochie is because I have seen men put in effort to getting, pardon me, I have seen men put in effort to getting the coochie that they don't put in for the relationships that they have with their children at times. Not to say everybody is guilty of that, because in this case, it's not the case. Gary is putting in all the effort. He's taking the accountability. He's saying, yo, I'm open, because he's taking the accountability and he's not giving up. He is moving on, to your point, to where he's like, all right, I'm going to go handle my other two kids because there's nothing else I can do other than continue to extend the effort. But he also had trouble in doing so. When his wife got on the plane, he was hiding like a little girl. Did you hear him say that in that clip? He was hiding because he didn't want to see her. He had a whole trip where he could have had a conversation with her in an enclosed place, to where he missed that opportunity. He waited until they was in the bag. He waited until they was in
still talked though.
plane.
They still talked.
But the point is, he missed the opportunity. They had a brief conversation, is what he said. He had a whole flight that he could have engaged in a conversation as an adult, but he was hiding in the window, because he wasn't ready to at that point. So let's be clear. Let's be clear. I'm not saying that. I'm not judging him for what he did. I'm just observing what he said. He said he was hiding. He said, when I saw her, I hid.
Him hiding has nothing to do with. All he wanted to do was talk about the relationship with the child. Anyway.
Well, the point is, if he has those tendencies when it comes to his wife, But imagine what other tendencies he might have
Man, you
missed.
kicking the can, man. You
But Sean, suppose she were the black girl matching him in the goddamn plane. Then what?
The
He
whole
would have
thing
said the
is
wrong thing, and then she would have gave him the black girl
that's
magic,
fine.
and then what?
That's
He would
fine.
have been it would have been like.
But the point, you're missing my point. My point
No,
is,
I heard your point.
my point is the fact that he didn't, as she just said, exercise some adult, mature ways that maybe his children don't know how to do either, and that's why they're a little distant from him, because they haven't learned, because he's teaching them certain characteristics that he doesn't even have yet. He's just learning them. He just is learning how to do some of these things.
If you don't call your child, you will teach your child how not to call you. Think about it.
But he said he did try to call his children.
If you don't call your child, right? But you want to get in contact now. I know that you said it's a two-way street. I get it. I understand. I'm a parent. I get it. Okay, it's a two-way street. But if mom and dad don't call me, that's teaching me that I don't have to call them. I don't have to call anyone. I'm not the initiator because I've been taught not to be. I've been taught to just wait and receive and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And because he's been on the road, his children have waiting and waiting and waiting. Not to mention, they have a woman in their ear who is scorned, who has been cheated on by her husband. Okay. So that doesn't help either. But because he has been away and he hasn't cultivated that relationship, it is now teaching them how not to have a relationship with him.
And the other thing that I keep saying, Passport, again, you haven't looked at the interview. And this is what frustrates me sometimes, is because he literally said, I was on the run when he was trying to serve his papers. He was incognito, not talking to anyone, including his children, for years before he was able to serve. That in itself shows some of the actions that might have caused some of this resentment. But you didn't hear the interview, and you said,
but you got to know why he was on. There was a reason why he was avoiding her, because he didn't want her to serve her first, because she was getting a divorce out of California. The laws are stiffer in California. Well, oh, you don't. Do you understand why he was trying to avoid her?
No, because I do understand. He was avoiding her. Hank, Hank, because while he was avoiding her, he was avoiding his children. That's the point that I'm making. And that's where they might have gotten some resentment.
But let somebody else explain something too, brother. Look here, man. There was a reason why he was away. He didn't want to get served from the California. If I'm trying to serve her first from Florida, where the laws are in my favor, I'm gonna do what I got to do to stay away from her in order to get them California rules. I'm going to.
And why would I lose your children? Okay, and you might lose your children.
And now I'll be on the children.
Okay, and you might lose your children.
But here's the thing. I think we're missing something here.
You're not chilling enough to listen, brother. You just keep talking.
Yeah.
Come on,
listen.
Man.
All states
very clearly, and you might lose your children, is what I said. You made a choice, and you might lose your children. Period.
Have an age of consent for children.
This ain't got nothing to do with the children. I'm talking about the divorce.
Even the divorce, because I can understand him trying to put himself in the best position for his future also. Because yes, most women, if they could go file in California, or the highest state where you can get the most resources out of men, everybody, the court would be overwhelmed with that, because at some point, once the relationship is no longer there, it becomes about the money. It becomes about the lifestyle that they want to maintain or want to elevate to at that point. Now, as it relates to him having a relationship with his children, every state has an age of consent. Most states is 13, some states is 12. A child can then say out of their own mouth, I don't want to be around dad. I don't want to be a part of dad's life. They can say that. They can go to court. They can do all of that legal stuff within the process. The unique thing for him, and I already mentioned throw a little ding out there. Okay, I'll go to 25. I'll give you to 25. You 19, yeah, I'm gonna throw a ding every month. Hey, it's your dad, I love you. Hey, it's your dad, I love you. Whether you block me or not. I wouldn't know they blocked me. I would just think they avoided my calls. Now, when you look at it, most of the behaviors that they're demonstrating, the children, it's all learned behavior. It's all learned behavior. I would hate to think that he never had a good relationship with his children as much as he's talked about his family in the past. I would hate to think that, all of a sudden the relationship, well, I can see I would hate to think that it's been bad all for a very long time. And it's just unfortunate again that his situation is no different than a lot of brothers out here today. It's no different. And I don't feel sorry for him. What he get is what he get. However, this is a great learning tool for brothers. That's why it's important to focus on your child in any event that you and the mother are not together. Focus on the child. Let that child know, I would never talk bad about your mother. I'm your father. I'm going to show up. And children, they know his schedule. They know he's a comedian. They know he traveled. They probably went to some shows, this going on the little staycation trip. So they understand that lifestyle, and he's not always going to be there. He's no different from a man working 10, 12, 14 hours a day trying to provide for his family. But this is a great tool for men because you have to really focus on the child once you understand that their relationship is over. You have to focus on the child. You have to have those tough conversations. Get away from the house, go get some ice cream, ride a bike, stop, go to the park, whatever you got to do, and have more than one conversation. It may take 10 conversations with your child for them to start to understand, like, okay, daddy loves me. Him and mama just didn't work out. Despite that, I can still have a relationship with my dad. And he's in a position where he feels it. He knows what's going on. And it's just unfortunate because, again, the children are missing out on opportunities to benefit from that resource that he can provide for them just in being in close proximity, even if it's once a month, twice a year, a couple of times. But to not have no communication, it's going to show up in their lives when they start dealing with men and trying to build relationships. Is just going to play itself out, and it's going to get uglier and uglier. So I hope the kids can find some grace in it and find a way to just come back to father, because those children are no longer a financial benefit for the mother. So she don't care. Everybody can get caught up in the whirlwind.
Yeah, and I think he made it known that a lot of this didn't start until after the divorce. So
I got a cousin in the middle. Okay, my bad.
I got tickets. So I texted both of them because when I call, they won't answer. So I got a text. And sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. So I was like, I got tickets. I got 4. You guys want to go? And they was both like, no. So I was like, dang. And then
that's it. Just no, not love with dad. I had other plans. I got other arrangements.
I ain't gonna say what they said, but it wasn't pretty. And then I said, I flew to Greensboro where my daughter was in school and knocked on her door and she wouldn't answer the door. And then my ex ended up calling and was like, my road manager was with me. She didn't know he was with me. She called my road manager and she was like, why is he at the door? Why is he at the door?
So she's looking at the door to see?
No, my daughter called.
That's what I'm saying.
So she's like, why is he at the door?
Yes.
And he's like, he's just trying to see her. She goes, no, it's not time. She's not ready. She said, write a letter and put it in the mail. I go, what?
People still write letters?
This ain't 1985.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that happened. Then I found out she was flying. I found out one of her flights one time. I ran into her at the airport and I was like, I kept my distance. I didn't run up on her. And I waved and she waved back. And I was like, oh, want to have a shot here? And then she dipped in the bathroom. And at 45 minutes, I waited and she never came out. And I just went, so I left. And then when I went to her graduation, yeah, they made it very clear, don't come up, don't talk to her, don't approach her, or nothing like that. I was like, so I don't know how. At this point, I don't know how to reconcile the relationship. I'm just letting them know that I love them. I'm proud of them, and whenever they call, I don't care where I'm at. I'm there. I've told them. I said, you know, you want to go to Hawaii? You want to go to Dubai? Where you want to go? Because we can go. We can go somewhere so far away and just sit down and have it out. So I literally don't know what to do at this point.
Wow.
You better pray, Mr. Gary Owens. I mean, there are some things that we cannot handle in our humanly strength, honestly, for real. Like, we too old to believe that we can handle everything in our human strength. And, you know, like he said, he's trying, he's done things, but she's not ready yet. And someone had to tell him that she's not ready yet. And that probably was a derivative from the mom.
And you know what's interesting about that? And this is the reason why I was pushing back so heavily on the point of view that you was making, Hank, is the fact that, yes, he wanted to go ahead and get it in a better state, and that's what he chose to do. And that choice of saving some money sacrificed the relationship that he's trying to rebuild with his children right now, possibly. And the point is that he was more concerned about her not taking half of what he got, that he said, fuck them kids, in other words, for right now. And these are the consequences of that. And I just don't have,
man.
I know because I don't value money like that, and other people do. I get it.
Well, how you gonna live if you?
For my daughter, I would have said, yo, take half. You can take it all. I'll remake it. That's what I would have did. Many men don't agree with that. I understand that. Don't make it any different. Many men don't agree with that. I just don't value money like that. And many men do. And I ain't knocking the men who do. I'm just saying, understand that that's your choice.
Sean, can I ask you a question on this point? If say he would have acquiesced and got taken to the cleaners in California, she still could have alienated the kids against him.
Well, then guess what?
Well,
I would at least be able to have my children will understand. Yo, I gave it all.
No, they don't understand.
Again,
What are you talking about?
But Pain. You're not gonna agree with me because you
No,
probably
I'm
do
just saying.
that.
I'm going with you. I'm saying if he would have did what you said, that doesn't guarantee him that he would have had a real.
But it gives it doesn't. You're right. I'm not disputing that, but it says that I did all that I could. I didn't just do what I thought.
You could do everything without losing everything.
Once again, I know it's saying. Tell me something. Go ahead.
Let somebody else talk, man. So you're gonna put this jacket on. All right, man. I heard you. So you're gonna put this jacket on this man, talking about he was worried about saving money, dude. Do you realize he would have had to pay alimony for the rest of his life in the state of California? Do you understand that?
Yes, I live in California.
Sounds crazy.
Yes, I live in California.
He avoided that. He wouldn't avoid his kids. Did you sit there and hear the man say, Sean, you gotta let somebody else. You ain't gonna let nobody else talk, just you.
You asked me a question. I said I understand that. I live in California.
No.
Sean, he was not asking you a question.
No, but I wouldn't have made Sean. You're a bad listener. Just like you ain't no different from him, then. You're a piss poor listener. Look, dude, these kids are entitled, and the mother is not doing anything to help the situation. She's a bitter bitch, and she's mad about the whole situation. Still, 3 years later, she's still feeling some type of way.
Yes, sir.
It's a shame that she is not doing anything to go. She's willing to cut off a nose to spite her face. She's willing to see them go through them suffering. She's willing to see them go through pain because they both hurting. The kids and the fathers both hurting. But guess who's happy? That ragged ass heifer. She don't give a shit. She's good because my relationship with my kids are good. I don't care. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's on you. But ma'am, why don't you as a mother want to see them in a relationship with the father?
Yes,
why
sir.
would you sit there and watch these kids suffer and go through this shit?
Yes.
And you're not doing anything to encourage you. Say, look here, kids, I know He may not always been up, but he's trying now.
Yep.
Yep.
Go halfway. Meet him halfway.
Yep.
Even if you do it for me, do it.
Yep.
Try it.
Yep.
See what happens. Just have the conversation. Now, if it don't go anywhere from there, then move on. But if it does, guess what? That's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Now y'all can build on your relationship from there.
Yep.
But at least try. That's what she should be doing as a mother.
Yep.
But she's not doing that. She's part of the problem. She's encouraging. I wouldn't have nothing to do with him. If he hurt me like that, I wouldn't have nothing to say to him. He ain't no good. He ain't this. He ain't that. Go ahead, man. You want that bag. You want that microphone bag. Take it, bro. Take it.
Okay. Let me ask all of y'all questions.
Uh-oh.
Who on this panel, outside of me, would gamble all of what they got for their children?
That's a loaded question.
With
It's a
gamble?
very direct question. Yeah, because you don't know if you're going to win or not. Yeah.
That's a loaded
I know what I said. No, it's a very direct question. Either you will or you won't.
Listen,
I don't like the way how you
the answer to that question is, if you're in a position that you have to gamble for your life for your kids, you're going to gamble because you don't have no choice anyway. If you really think about it,
you have a choice not to. You have a choice not to gamble. You have a choice to
No,
keep
that's
the
not
stuff.
how you said it.
And I
If
asked the
I have a
question,
choice not to gamble,
let me say my question again. Seeing you said that, I didn't say that. I said on this panel, which one of you men will gamble all that you have for your children? What part don't you understand?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, is if you're ever in a position that you have to gamble everything for your kids, then your life is over anyway.
So you won't do it, is what you're saying?
That's
my question. Will you do it or not? Will you do it or not?
So
That's what I'm asking.
on this man's situation, you want somebody to gamble. This man got 2 new children that he's got to raise. So you want me to gamble for what? That makes no sense.
This was before his children. This was before his children were born. I'm asking you.
The first two kids come first, so he got to gamble everything for the first 2 kids.
No, wait. First off, what I'm saying is, if y'all think about it, he said that he was running from his wife because he didn't want to serve her in California because she could take half and have alimony for the rest of their life and so on and so forth, which is risking all that you have in order for your children is what I'm asking. And none of y'all are saying yes or no. Who would do it?
Well, I don't have kids. I don't have kids.
The kids better be talking to me. If they ain't talking to me, F them damn kids. They better be talking to me before I gamble anything. I don't work too hard. I done been on the road 20 years.
And that's fair.
You cold.
And that's fair. I can't.
They
And
better
that's
be
fair.
talking to me.
But the point is that I can respect, and that's a fair answer. I'm not asking you to do what I do. I'm just saying that's where we have a disconnect, because I would gamble it and you might not. And both ways, neither way is correct or incorrect. They both have consequences. They both are gamble. The gamble is you might lose, your kids might lose respect for you because you didn't bank it or try and gamble it for them.
But let me ask this question.
But why would you have to gamble anything for the respect of your kids, though?
That's right. It's crazy. It's not, you could gamble and still they don't have no respect for you. What are you talking about?
But my thing is, why do I have to? Okay, in the situation with the kids and the mother, why is it that I even have to go through this back and forth with her to have a relationship with something that, if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be here today?
Exactly.
He ain't
and live the life that they live.
Only thing he asking for is a relationship. Now that relationship could just be phone calls on Sundays. One of
the things I don't understand is that they live in a modern world with FaceTime, phone, text, video chat, all that. So even if you can't be there present, if the children wanted that, they can at least see their father and have some kind of communication. I haven't seen my mom this year yet, but I'm gonna eventually fly to Georgia just to see her presence, because she lives in Georgia, I live over here. But I still communicate just to keep that relationship going. So at the end of the day, those children have to want a relationship with him to have a relationship with their father, or whenever they come across that bridge.
Passport, who calls more, your mom or you?
My mom.
That's because you look like you was a mama's boy too, man. You got them old.
Hey man, I love my mama, man. I ain't ever gonna say I don't.
No,
I ain't ever gonna say I don't.
I'm just saying the mama's boy. Like, mama, you make me some cookies.
Hey, after hearing some of these craziness on these YouTube streets, I need to appreciate my mama a whole lot more. Because I done heard some craziness.
Okay.
It's crazy.
And to your point, I understand everybody's point of view in reference to not gambling your bag. And sometimes I feel like that as well. But the point is that when you gamble your bag and you say, you know what, I'm going to keep this money and do whatever I have to do to secure it so that I can, for whatever reason, so I can take care of my children in the future, so I can make sure I take care of myself, it still becomes the gamble and sacrifice that you're making on behalf of your children. Because we're talking about prior to him having any kids, prior to them getting divorced, when this gamble that I'm asking about took place. He was on a run for about 3 years, according to what he said, which he wasn't communicating. He was incognito with his children.
Alrighty, so we're gonna move on to this last topic. I actually had one more video. It was this lady who gave up her
I absolutely love and adore my.
but we're not going to talk about that one. Pretty much she gave up her children because she didn't feel like she wanted to have them anymore.
Give them to the father.
The fathers didn't want the kids. She did that too. She reached out to the fathers and they said, well, why you get to go make your bag? Why would we take the kids so you could go make your bag? One of the fathers is passed away. I believe she has 4 or 5 kids.
He fucked up.
And my question to her would be, why you keep having kids? I think these girls, little girls, have all these children and then be like, oh, I don't want my kids. It's too much responsibility. I can't do what I need to get done.
Excuse me.
Well, what did you think was going to happen? That you was still going to have? See, you do take a gamble when you have children because you do. A lot more mothers than fathers, and I'm not saying that fathers don't, but I'm saying that you do gamble because you have to give up what's going on in your life to take care of a child and put a child before you or put another human being before you. So I'm not going to play that video, but because we'll be here all night, but I do want to play this last video. Thank you so much, Rush Enterprises Starks. Am I saying that right? Dope stream. Thank you. I did pin the link if anybody wants to join the conversation. I think I pinned it. Yeah, I pinned it. So we're going to get to this last one. I saw this on the Karamo show. I don't know if anybody watches the Karamo show, but this one, again, as a parent, where do you go? And in this case, the mom is giving up on her daughter.
From the waist down, and I'm in a wheelchair. Now I feel like I'm fighting another battle for my daughter's life. Maylon is 14 and she acts like an adult. She began suspended from school. She be still in front of the store. She disrespected me, calling me all type of names. We was arguing and then she said, stand on it. Oh, I forgot you can't. So that was the hurtfulest thing she ever said to me. Maylon Laura needs to know as long as I'm around, she's not going to be that baddie that she claims that she want to be. My kids need to know whether I'm in this wheelchair or not. I'm still their mother.
She always want me to go in the house and do chores every day. And I'm not gonna do that.
What kind of chores does she want you to do?
Like the dishes, I'm not gonna do that.
Lying. I do my own dishes.
You're lying.
Clean up
You're
after
lying.
your cat.
And I do.
And you don't.
You're just ungrateful. That's all.
She put her hands on me. Did you hit me with a bottle?
You're lying. You
Yo,
are
May,
lying.
so you ain't hit me in my head with a bottle? No. Oh my God, May, you ain't hit me in my head with a bottle?
I'm not lying.
Yo, May, you ain't hit me in the head with a bottle?
Like I said,
Yo, May, you ain't hit me in the head with a bottle?
I did it.
Go get my phone so
Go
we
get
can
her
show the
phone.
ticket.
What happened?
What's
in the phone?
Go get your phone.
You really lying
Go get your phone.
May, did you hit me in my head with a bottle?
I did it. So
you did not hit me in the head with a bottle?
No, I didn't. She literally come in my room and Macy's the whole room.
Yo.
It's literally orange on the wall.
You
literally threatened
really
me
sitting
too.
here lying?
I'm not lying. Okay,
yeah,
so
I'll make you again. You hit me with a bottle.
And
what? You talking about?
I did not, bro.
You ever lie on me?
I'm not lying.
I'm gonna let you go back.
Got me way up.
Okay, you got me.
We
Liar?
phone.
No, you are lying.
Yeah.
I
Well,
miss
you
you
get so that you can see it. And then
bye to you too.
You mad? Yeah, you're
I ain't
mad.
even talking to you.
You're
Shut-
mad.
Do you remember what you said to your mother? What was it?
You can't walk, something like that. But like I said it because like she been coming at me crazy.
She came at you crazy, so you said something that you felt was going to hurt her back. I know. Can you apologize to your mother for that comment?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I would never accept it because you said that to me because all I do is tell you to clean. Are you crazy?
Well, first of all,
that's all I tell you to do is clean up and go to school. And you had the audacity to say some dumbass like that to me?
Okay.
Oh.
So you came to me to help you to fix this, to heal the heartache that y'all got, and I saw the path to it. And I think we all understand the path to y'all healing it. But that path for y'all healing this relationship is going to start with you.
I don't care. I feel like we're done. Like, and that's so weird to say. Nobody ever wants to give up on their kid, yo. Kids got too many options and choices now.
I'm gonna take you back, because I don't think y'all are done. I think y'all are hitting a spot that's rough.
I'm the only person she got, just like she the only person I got.
I don't think your relationship is done. I don't.
And I told her that too.
I need to
She want to
receive
be
that.
just like me and my mom.
But you do understand the cycle of that, right?
Yup, and I tried to break the chain by telling her, it's a chain, let's break it.
Yeah. But you know,
She don't get it.
But she's a kid.
She's not a kid. Her age is a kid.
She's a kid.
She's not a kid.
She's a kid. She's a kid.
There's only a couple people that said some about this wheelchair that'll never get to say me again. Are y'all
But, you know,
crazy?
hold on. You just said the issue right there. There's a couple people who have said things about me in this wheelchair who would never get to say me again. And unfortunately, one of those people is your daughter.
Unfortunately, one of those people is her daughter. So, what do you guys think about that exchange? You have a mother who is crippled from the waist down. She is bound to a wheelchair. She has a child who is disobedient, attitude, curses at her mom. Child, my teeth would have been, they would have been in India somewhere. She is just disrespectful. She says something very hurtful to her mom. Obviously, you know, her mom cannot help her, the position that she's in now. She actually got shot, I believe, like 4 or 5 times, along with another one of her children got shot as well. And she considers her daughter that she was talking to, you know, pretty much a survivor, just like she was. She just, you know, wasn't crippled from the waist down. But they get to this point where the daughter says something very disrespectful, amongst other things. And the mom says, you know, it's only a few people who have said some disrespectful things to me about this wheelchair that'll never get to see me again. So what happens what happens when one of those people is your children? Does mom just give up on her daughter? Y'all like, don't look at me. Y'all already know what I'm gonna say.
What's Sean at? Ain't you gonna save these heifers? Go on, save them, Sean. Sean ain't got nothing to say. God.
Will you just give up on her?
That was difficult for me to watch, and hurt people. That was difficult for me.
Why? Would you care to let us know why?
You ain't crying over there, are you?
I see Reggie. Relax. People.
Nah, seriously, it was difficult.
Oh, maybe his body.
Oh, dang. Gotta hold
Sean,
it in.
you might have to go out.
That raggedy phone worked a minute ago when all that
Yeah, you're getting choked up, man. You're getting choked up, man. That's all.
Oh God, that's so funny. Listen,
All right, who wants to?
it's a sad story, right?
Mhm.
That's what it seems like. I would like to have some backstory. Listen, her mother starts trying to act like a mother once she's in this crippling situation, but she's probably was ratchet for most of the kids' life. Now, all of a sudden, you want to put rules and discipline on a kid that's already lost. No father in the house, nothing. So now you're in a wheelchair and you need this kid. She knows you need her. And now you're putting stuff on her that you never did before. They probably got the whole generational black girl magic curse going on. And, so I'm saying, in the way they're talking to each other, that's a common thing, right? If she's cursing at her like she's an adult. The one thing I agree with her is that kid no longer is operating as a little kid, right? So, I know he tried to keep putting her back in the box, but those days are long gone for that girl. She's probably having sex. She's probably doing all kinds of shit out there. And once she starts smelling herself at that level, there's almost nothing that her mother could do with her. Right? I would kick her ass out the house. That's what I would do. Get out. And say, listen, you want to be an adult, get out. And then, but her mother needs her.
She's 14.
I'm not so sure. I don't care. I'm not so sure her mother.
Damn.
And, the only reason why she's still there because she needs her. I mean, the kind of belligerence that girl.
I don't know what happened to you ever since that cruise, man. But you said that shit.
I'm listening. The kind of belligerence this chick. I don't know how you get past it. So she don't got no father. She don't got no grandmother. She got anybody that she can stay with because you can't stay here. You're gonna either do it because they're gonna keep fighting, and she's cursing at her. I believe that she probably did try to hit her mother with a bottle.
Yeah. Now my raggedy phone is better. Thank you, Sir Hank. Nah, but seriously, hurt people do hurt people, and what I saw in that is just a lot of pain within both of them, the mother and the daughter. And I think that the pain is really rooted in the mother. And to Kane's point, I think that she was a very ratchet, and all she's seen is a reflection of that and duplication of that. And the attitude that she said, "Oh, forget her," she ran off stage. She's doing exactly all of the things that the little girl is displaying. And unfortunately, she doesn't realize that she's doing it. I don't believe. I think that she is so caught on the pain of her getting shot and not being able to move, and the pain of now she ain't getting the respect that she used to, and she can't get up and fight nobody like she used to, and it's all starting to really reflect in the child's behavior, and she is starting to act exactly how the mother is acting. And it's a cycle, as she said, "I want to break the cycle by telling her." No, you got to break the cycle by showing her, and you're not showing her anything except the same attitude that you don't like in yourself.
Break the chain by showing her. I think personally that she needs to break the chain by actually accepting what's going on with her. I don't think her mom has truly accepted what's going on with her as far as her disability at this point. Because her daughter joking about it and using it against her as a joke truly impacted her to the point where she doesn't even want to further a relationship with her daughter, or mend a relationship with her daughter, I should say. It sounds like they're not from the South, so I'm going to say they're from the North, from the city, like North Jersey somewhere. They're not from, or New York, somewhere north. They're definitely not from the South talking like that. But they probably live in an environment where everyone talks like that around them. There are no fathers in the homes, and wherever they live at, it's not a norm. It's not a normalcy amongst them. The mother doesn't seem like she has help. I'm pretty sure that she has given up a time or two on her child because of her condition. And when I say give up, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to just let her do whatever she wants to do. Like she said, she's a child, she's 14, but she acts like an adult. I can't believe her nose is pierced. I was like, dang, her nose is pierced? Like, who took her to get her nose pierced?
Gonna do it.
You know, at that young age. So I think her mother has to free herself of her insecurities. She has to come to, you know, terms of what's going on with her and be able to maneuver that and mentally process that when you're going through issues with your daughter. Because her issues, on top of her daughter being a teenager and emotions all the way out of whack and out of control and all over the place, and you know, her feeling like she has an upper hand over her mom because there is no man in the house because her mom is in a wheelchair. That little girl is taking full advantage of the situation right now. She's taking full advantage. So the mom needs to truly come to terms with what's going on, and she needs to get help ASAP. You know how that first story we were talking about, how the wife was you know, mad at the dad for all the discipline and how he's putting structure in the home for his son so his son can get good grades and things like that. There could be conditioning and things like that done for little girls. I don't think that's just a little boy thing.
It's a must.
You can get up every day at a certain time and do, you know, something, whether it's writing. See, what boys and girls need different tasks. So, you know, boys can do something that's physical. I think she should get up every day and write something 100 times. That was one of my punishments, y'all. I had to write things like 100 times. Something that's repetitious, something that is going to, you know, that you're going to see over and over again. Maybe you might get good penmanship out of it. I know I did. Handwriting looks beautiful today. But something that will condition her to think a certain way. Mine was verses. I had to write certain verses in the Bible over 100 times over and over and over and over and over again. But there are things that need to be put in place for her, and it's going to take more than just her mom. And yes, punishment won't fix her. Punishment won't fix her.
It's too late.
But there needs to be some type of conditioning. There needs to be someone needs to come in and assist the mother, because like I said, I know the mother at this point has probably given up on her daughter a few times, and she has more than one child. So she's not just dealing with her.
But I've seen this situation before, working in foster care in Chicago. I've seen this situation. And one thing I come to realize and discover, even in talking to the parents, the one thing a mother refuses to do, again, is to acknowledge that they can't do it, that they need help. They'll take it to the grave, and everything will fall apart right in front of them, and they will refuse to ask for help. She's in a condition now where she can get the resources of the community. She can get a respite worker. She can get certain assistance to help her within the household. She can get that. Her body was, you know, had some issues, but her mind was still working. Her mind was still working. Shout out to the first generation crack era adults. Shout out to y'all. You know, it is a struggle for a lot of y'all just to sort of navigate through just the parenting styles. There's no perfect way to parent your child, but one of the biggest mistakes we make in our child's early life is that we allow our children to see and be aware of a lot of what we do. I understand that you need transparency, but that transparency needs to be based off doing the best we can, not just based off what we feel in the moment and, you know, airing out everybody else's dirty laundry and how the opposite sex did and didn't care. I think we really need to just have some boundaries early. A child's most influential years is age 0 to 3. So if you don't pour into your child or children at that early age and start giving them those type of communication skills, even, you know, sharing items, doing chores, basic chores by cleaning up after their toys and reinforcing those things and going forward, you cannot circle back on a teenage boy or girl at 13, 14 and say, okay, these are the new rules. It does not work like that. That child will rebel. They will continue to run. They didn't mention anything of a father, which I think, you know, a lot of young men and women go through that age where they start to come to the age of reasoning, where they start questioning the father for not being there or whatever the case may be. I think it's, and I've been saying this for a while now, if you have a good, you know, if the guy's a decent guy, and even though y'all may not have had a relationship, but y'all had a child, when you start recognizing those behaviors that you know are difficult for you to navigate through with your child, reach out to that father, reach out to a righteous man, maybe an uncle or cousin, somebody who has no vested interest in trying to get anything from you or your children, and let them start establishing a relationship and having those conversations on how to communicate. And you know, even as a mother, you know, father, young, we have to continue to self-evaluate ourselves, but we also have to continue to not allow our emotions to interfere with how we groom our children. You know, this thing could, it's a whole lot of layers to this. What we see is it's deeper than that. The young lady mentioned that her mother and her had the same type of relationship. So she's carrying a lot of that pain. Now she's in a situation where she can't walk. That has to be sort of depressing within itself, because she's still putting on that same facade as, you know, any other woman. That'd be a great time to be a natural looking woman at that point. It seemed like she still had a, you know, nice little figure to herself. So, you know, I don't know, you know, I've seen this before, and unless the child or the adolescent gets some type of professional help, start tapping into their natural skills and abilities, she probably can write, you know, who knows what she can do. Just start focusing on that for the child, and the mother stop putting so many demands on the young lady, because, you know, we see it. We can't be friends until things go bad. Now all of a sudden I'm a parent. It does not fare well. It's only going to get worse. I hope and pray this young lady don't have a child out of wedlock at an early age, because she's going to do the same thing to her daughter, and it's just going to repeat. And nobody is going to hold that woman accountable. Her friends have to, the older women in her family, they have to sort of hold her accountable. It's not just on this young lady. She's only doing what she was allowed to do. So it's just unfortunate, sad.
I definitely would agree. Would anyone else like to speak on this topic? Passport?
That's very rational instead of like emotional, like I was. Kick her ass out. But no, that was good, Treyford. It's a sad situation all the way around. Huh? You know, I think you know, if there's any relatives at all who could take this daughter in and at least give us some structure, or somebody at all, I would try to make that kind of connection with if there's an aunt or somebody, because I don't see the path forward with this young lady in the house. Not the way they're talking to each other. Can you come back from that? Yeah, but where's the healing? Where would that begin? I mean, like the guy who's like the moderator of this show, you know, this is like a public show. You know, it's not like in a private consultation. So the fact that it's public automatically makes it a bad situation. So whatever they had to talk out had to be done in private with somebody, like, you know, that you can say what you say, but it wouldn't get the effect of an audience and all that kind of stuff. So I don't see the path forward. It just looks really bad. And you know, and I feel sorry for the young lady, because she wasn't taught anybody. She won't have no frame of reference of what a good mother-daughter family structure is at all. And I don't see how a mother could give it to her, because she probably didn't have it either. So It's just one of those kind of things. The plight of the Black community.
Yeah, I would say that she's 14, so she's not. Okay, rephrase that. She's 14, and she still could be rehabilitated. See, when I was growing up, my parents, they're from Haiti. So, we seen, girls like her before, think that they know everything, very rebellious, very disrespectful. Now what other Haitian parents would do, they'll be like, oh, you tough. Okay. They send your ass straight to Haiti for the whole summer. Probably those 2 months you're gonna see the privileges that you have and opportunities that you have. And it's gonna straighten you up. Then you're gonna come back and you're gonna be like, oh, it's a breath of fresh air. If your child is that, I guess, how disrespectful that 14-year-old girl is. If she went to the military, they still they'll break her down and rebuild it back up, because that's what majority of the military is all about. So she needs a whole lot of discipline. And since the mom can't really do it, I would have to agree with our pain. You have to just, advance her into her adulthood and let her fend for herself, because the mom looks heavily stressed out. The mom already got a bunch of stuff to worry about with her own health. And I could imagine putting my parents through any of that, being 14 and seeing how my mom is disabled, and I'm over there stressing her out over small stuff. I mean, like I said, I don't have kids, so, I don't understand you guys talking about sending her to therapy or stuff like that, but, I don't think that's really going to get too far. It's going to have to be something extreme to send a shock for her to go to get on the right path. It's kind of like a scared straight type stuff.
So like JJ Carver says, discipline doesn't work if the root cause isn't solved. And I would agree with that. I think that she should have like 3 days mandatory going to therapy throughout the week. So should the mom. And it shouldn't be together until they actually are able to get to that root cause. Because honestly, it's probably the same in both of them. The mom has become, she's now at a point where, her development as far as being mobile the way that she wants to be mobile has now been stifled. And, the little girl could feel like, based off of her attitude, she could be ashamed of her mom. She could feel like she got robbed because now her mom is not mobile the way that she would like her to be. But there definitely was no foundation set. And so now we have to do a reset. And you can definitely do a reset with children, but you have to be dedicated to your children. You can't say, you can't just write them off. And you can just write them off, because there's a lot of people who do just write their children off. But if you're going to have children, be vested in your children. If they need help, they need help. If this child was not disrespectful and things of that nature, and let's just say that she was just very sick, had horrible, coughing and sneezing and sore throat and things like that, and it couldn't get better. Well, you would try to find a doctor that could make it better, right? You would try to find whoever has the medicine that says that it works to make that sickness better. And what I'm seeing is a sickness. A lot of things aren't taught, a lot of things are caught. And she caught this from her family line, because the sickness was no one ever got the sickness at the root cause, at the root. No one ever, established where is this pain coming from. And so it's just going to continue. And it's literally in them. It's in them. It's not something that they learned, or no. The mama's mama was like that to the mama, and now the mom is like that to the daughter. And so they need to sit down and do some serious healing. And that's not going to happen overnight. That's not going to happen with the first therapist that they meet. That's going to happen with, someone that they trust, that they can be comfortable with to speak to about these issues. And the mom, like Karamo said, it's going to start with you. It's going to start with you. Yeah, your child, she's disrespectful. She don't have nothing nice to say to you. She said that horrible thing to you and it crushed you. But it's going to start with you because you are the parent. You are the, in this situation, the child is the weaker vessel. So I say that it can be healed. Excuse me. It can be healed, but it's going to take intentionality. You got like something like this. You have to be intentional because you can give up real easy. And that girl can be a product of her environment and, a baby before getting married. She could end up in jail. She could end up in somebody's jail cell for stealing, or because she does not know how to regulate her emotions. So much so that anybody could get it, even her mom. So she's a danger. I feel like children like that, teenagers like that, are a danger to society. They're a danger to society. You gotta take them in. You can't have them out on the street. You gotta take them in and do some deep root work. And that's what needs to happen. And I think Karamo will definitely get them on track with that. I think that I don't think he sees these people and then sends them on their way. I believe they do, extend some type of help, assistance, therapy, guidance in some shape or form. And that's true too. They do need a holy intervention. But God watching, he just waiting for them to go to him because he's a gentleman. God ain't gonna push himself on them. Just like y'all say, hey, look, I'ma just let him go. I'm just going, no. God is the same way, but God will send the pings. Okay, remember I told y'all, no, just let them know that you love them. God will send those pings. You just got to watch out for them. So I think it's the same thing in this situation. They definitely need a situation where someone is serious about healing, intentional about growth, intentional about the future, because she's only getting older, not younger. And the mom, she's going to go through, her issues as well as her teenager advances in school, no matter what it is. They're not even going to be able to enjoy certain things like graduation and dances and certain things like that because of the pain that the mom is going through of being in the wheelchair. You're not even going. I couldn't even see her sending her daughter off to prom or seeing her daughter off to a school dance or anything that is that has a parental intimacy attached to it. They don't have any type of parental intimacy because they are fighting each other, and they really fighting spirits that didn't die generations ago. All right, guys, anybody else want to speak on this? And then we're going to go to final thoughts. Everybody good on this one? All right, guys. So I appreciate everyone who has been here this evening, all who has contributed to the platform. I got a couple of cash apps as well. Hank, thank you so much. Darnell, thank you. Harrison, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to go to final thoughts. I'll start with Trey. We'll work our way over to Passport Bro to Sean to Hank, and we'll end with Arpine.
Hey, appreciate you bringing me up. It was a great show. Great topics. We actually had some good conversation, and didn't nobody throw no punches. Everything worked out pretty good. Hey, we're in a unique space in our time, in our history. Probably one of the only time. Well, has been the only time where most of our adults are arguing, complaining, however you want to put it, about just building relationships. We have no opportunity to build if we can't cultivate relationships within each other, within our family. Definitely, we're struggling within the community. But I think this is a great opportunity for both parties, men and women, to start reflecting and looking back at some mistakes that were made, but instead of blaming those before them, to sort of look at those things and move accordingly to enhance their future, to enhance their children's future, everyone involved, because right now it's looking a little bleak. We are still talking about even more now how other communities are working together, but shit, we arguing over where we gonna eat at and all of that. But so I don't know. I just hope that, you know, no, everybody stops blaming others for the lack of thereof. You know, you talked about it enough. If you're not going to get therapy, then find a way to confront that and get it off your chest. We hold too much within our, on our emotions. We carry a lot of other people's mess and weight, without giving ourselves. And stop being too hard on yourself. You're gonna fuck up. That's why it's called life. But be willing to step outside of your comfort zone, especially as a man. You have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone, go to the wilderness, get away from those that are always in your ear, shooting down your dreams, get away from those who are always putting you down. But you have to take a chance on yourself right now, because I'll say this, the immigrants are coming. Those fancy apartments y'all see in your neighborhood, the immigrants gonna get that. Those benefits, those SNAP benefits, the immigrants is coming for all that. So if y'all don't try to cultivate relationships with your children, if you have children, mothers, and if you find it overwhelming and it's a good guy that you had a baby with, man, give him to the father. Watch how your son grows 6 foot tall. Watch how he becomes a little bit more independent and self-sufficient. We just have to continue to fight. People can look at it, there's no right or wrong, but you got to look at yourself. If you 21 to 41, you should be the strongest, the best looking, working as hard as you can. You shouldn't be overweight. I don't care if you man or female. You ain't got to care for nobody but yourself. Put down your nemesis and get out there and start living life, man. This is going on. It's almost summertime, man. Everybody should be outside sweating out their weave, men and women. Get out there, change your life, man. Because if you keep sitting in that box, guess what? That box get junky. It gets to smelling, and other people that are trying to move past it will come by and crush your box. So step outside your box, man, and don't be afraid. The time is now. If not, fuck them kids, because they all going down. That's all I got.
Thank you so much, Troy. I appreciate you for being here. Passport, your final thoughts?
A lot of these problems could be solved by if two productive people get together to have a family, not just situationships, entanglements, partnerships, actually getting together to have a family for it to grow. That will solve a lot. But today, I don't know. It's up and everywhere today. Do not be afraid to walk away from your children if they are disrespectful, because at some point you have to choose yourself. Now, if your child wants to, like I said, I don't see how a child would not want a relationship with their parent if their parent is available. But at some point, just like Flo Mayweather says, your child gonna do whatever they want to do at some point. I look at 50 Cent, Brian McKnight, of guys of stature that had to say, you know what Trey said, fuck them goddamn kids. Now, I wouldn't say that. I would love them from afar and hope that every birthday when I send them a text to a certain point, because I'll pull back to a certain point, hopefully, they'll eventually come around. But at some point, hey, the door's open, they know it's open. You just have to, for me, I'm speaking for myself, I would just leave it at that, and hopefully they come around. But at the end of the day, from what I've seen with these Gary Owens situation, is you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Gary Owens wants to see his children. Young Jeezy wants to see his daughter. They dragging him through the mud. But if you're 50 Cent, Floyd Mayweather, all these other guys that says, fuck them goddamn kids, it's still a problem. So at the end of the day, it's all going to be your fault, black men. Choose yourself and keep moving forward.
Thank you. Sean, your final words, sir?
Let there be love. Let there be love. Let there be love. Remove our emotions. Remove our feelings and our, try and get beyond uh, our traumas by recognizing that we have them. Way to recognize is if and when we are not expressing or sharing love, it might be something within us that is resentful or bitter, or as that lady in the wheelchair is angry for whatever experiences we go through. And so all I say is just try and just be clear on those experiences. Try and identify those experiences. Try and identify what triggers you so that you're able to better deal with the emotions that come with those triggers, or the unhealed emotions that make those triggers make you act emotionally. And let there be love. Thank you for having us. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure with you all. Respect and love. Like I said, I respect a lot of your positions, even though I don't agree with each and every one of them. But if I respect them, because to each his own. And that's that. So let there be love, let there be respect, and hopefully we will all be better. That's it. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for being here. Hank, your final thoughts, sir?
My final thoughts is black man, protect yourself at all times. Whether you need to get on somebody's couch, somebody's Zoom me, man. Get your mental right. Get your A1C and your blood work in order, man. Diabetes and heart disease, two amongst biggest killer amongst black men. So do what you got to do to keep yourself in the right frame of mind, physically as well as mentally. Also, men of all pain, Trey's age, and Sean and myself, get your prostate and your colonoscopy, man. Colon cancer's a motherfucker, man. You don't want to go through it. I watched my grandfather go through it. It's a bad boy. So do what you got to do to get those things checked and get those things worked out.
Okay.
Thank you, Hank. Always dropping that gem. I appreciate that. Someone thought you had said A1 sauce. Get your mind off the steak. Mind off the steak.
Yeah, A1 sauce. Well, thanks.
Good.
Well, thanks for letting us up again. Interesting show. Some good commentary on what we saw. I don't have anything profound. I just it's just tough out there. You know what I'm saying? I feel some compassion for the mom in the wheelchair, daughter that's out of bounds. And this was a good show. I don't have any real profound stuff to say. I just have some things on my mind. Like I have just for you, Precious. I mentioned this to you before, that I have my wedding video digitized, right, from way back when. It's all choppy and stuff. Back in the dinosaur age, you got the guy. He was cranking this shit like in the old time.
I haven't seen that since I was elementary school, man.
So actually, but the thing is, I'm kind of torn whether I was gonna, I spliced it up, whether I was gonna show it, because the memories in there are personal, right? But for all the stuff in relationship that we talk on these panels, I've never seen anybody talk about, well, this is what a wedding used to look like, especially when you're in the church taking the vows. And every time I see, I kind of get choked up. I said, man, I actually meant those goddamn things. So did my wife. And the minister was on, he was one of the old guys. It was on point. But, then the party, then the cake, the ceremony, and then, of course, the parting comments between me and my wife. And the music was music, right? No rap, none of that kind of stuff. People was jamming. We had a band. We had all. But I think it's poignant, because I think on these panels, when we talk about relationships, nobody really talks about what a real wedding actually looks like. I know people got tapes, but we never see them on these panels. So I'm kind of torn. Do I want to put something like that out there? And
man, that's positivity, man. Give some hope to these people.
But I mean, I'm still saying. I mean, I'm just kind of torn. I showed my wife what I put out. She said she's all for it and all that kind of stuff. But maybe one of these days. Maybe one of these days. I might send it to you like on email so you can look at it and give me some critique. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
All right, so that's my point of thought. Every time I look at the daggone video, first of all, I gotta say this: I never gave myself any credit for how good I looked. Holy shit! Those hands
Man, sauce it up.
that's good as hell. And you know that's one. My wife was like the most beautiful woman in the whole world. She still looks like that. So I'm sitting here saying, man, I said, what did I do to myself? I said, what did I do to myself? You know, but anyway, that's just a joke. Anyhow, let me leave it there.
Well,
But
if you
I'm gonna
ever
put that
decide
out sooner or
to
later.
share,
Go
I
ahead.
definitely wouldn't mind looking at it. And you know, that's definitely your decision. You know, those personal, intimate moments. You know, there's a lot of things that I don't share on here because it ain't none of your business. Shit, like it just, you know what I mean? Like it's just none of their business. But you know, something like that, I can understand where you're going back and forth because that is an intimate moment with you, your wife, your family. And some people just aren't deserving of all of you, and that's just point blank period. Like some people just aren't deserving of some parts of you, some areas of you, some details and information about you. They're just not deserving of that. But I would like to look. I would like to see it if you wouldn't mind. It's funny. My parents, their wedding video is I have I've never seen your video, but I just feel like certain videos, like wedding videos like that from back in the day, are almost like all the same. Almost if you kind of went through the same, you know, the minister and your wedding party, and you know, so I love going through. You might maybe go to my parents' house soon and go look through them albums and stuff again. To see everybody. And then, you know, there are people who are just no longer here anymore. You know what I mean? So just to, you know, go through those memories can be a little emotional. So I can definitely understand that.
And that's the thing. People wouldn't get that because we had a family page on Facebook and all the families on there. So when I put that on there, I told them, I said, listen, you know, this is my wedding because a lot of them weren't there. I said, there's some memories in this video for all of us. At some level, aunts, uncles, parents, all that stuff that are no longer with us.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of that stuff is really poignant. So, I mean, you know, strangers would never get that, right? But and that's one of the things I'm torn with, you know. So, but anyway, it's a thought. I'll probably end up putting it on there sooner or later.
Yeah, don't feel obligated to share stuff with these folks. Shit. I'm just saying. You know what I mean, keep
as long as our opinion about his wife, I want to see this wedding. I ain't gonna lie. I want to see it. I actually want to see it. At least.
One of these days, follow me. All right. Thanks.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. My simple final thought would be, you know, I know that children can be a handful. It takes a lot of patience to deal with children. I remember when I was going for my dual degree and getting my teacher's degree, I'm like, I just want to do third grade. They easy. They don't have this warped brain yet. They still got their, you know, their innocence. And, you know, and plus my very first job was working with third graders, was school with all third graders. So that was a huge, you know, incentive for me. It was just like, oh my God, I love this age and things like that. But as I got older and more, you know, progress more in the education field, you know, you just see so many different things, so many different scenarios, so many different situations, the, you know, evaluation plans these kids have. I used to do some student teaching in Paterson, New Jersey and North Jersey. Some kids are not bathed, they're not washed, they don't have, you know, fresh clothes, on top of not having the parental structure that they should have, right? So, you know, I say those who are parenting, those who have children who are going through it, definitely be patient. And say little prayers. You know, you think God is not listening, but he is. He knows the desires of your heart. Say little prayers because there's nothing that we can do in this world with just our own strength. There's nothing that I'm ever going to say, oh, I did that in my own strength. No, no, God gonna get the glory somewhere, because if it was up to me, I probably would have been dead a long time ago. So I can't even, you know, big myself up like that. I can't, you know, I can't be that prideful. I can't have that much pride. And so, you know, there are some children where you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm throwing in the towel. You know, but just think twice before you do it. And if you're going to do it, if you're gonna, you know, step away, make sure someone steps in that you trust. Make sure someone steps in that can handle the job, that got the shoulders for it. Because everybody that have children don't have the capacity of being parents. And I know that myself of just being in foster care and adopted. My mom didn't have the capacity to be a mother, but she did have the capacity to put me in a place where I could have that opportunity of having two parents. And for that, I'm grateful. So, you know, things don't always turn out the way that we want them to, but we do have to make the best with what we have. And only God makes all this possible. So I appreciate you guys. I thank you. This was a show about parenting, not the norm. And think, you know, of other stuff that we see on social media. It's been a while since I've been here, about a week. I think I just took a week off. And again, still trying to figure out the direction I want to go with the content. I'm open to any suggestions. If you guys want to DM me or reach out to me, I'm on Instagram at Real Precious Official. So you definitely can do that. I'm down with, you know, communicating with you guys as far as different content. If you have any ideas, you know, you guys come on here weekly. So the space is just as yours as it is mine. So if you guys see certain things where you're like, hey, Precious, let's go over this or let's talk about this, maybe one-on-ones, whatever the case, just let me know, okay? And then my other closing word will always, or final thought will always be real with yourself so you can be real with others. It's been real, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for spending Monday with us. Good night.
Good night.